when it comes to going in the men's room and going to the urinals. You know how they have those urinals with the little dividers?
Yeah.
Okay. Rule of men's room 101. If I'm at the urinal and I'm doing my business, please, and there's other, like, if there's like 4 total urinals and I'm on the one on the far left, and there's
I know
3
exactly
open,
what you're gonna say.
So if I'm on the far left, and there's like 3 other open urinals, don't be that guy who just comes up to like the urinal right next to mine and
It's like, howdy, neighbor.
Hey there, bud.
Get away from me.
And you know what? Like, listen, if it's a crowded movie theater, like, listen, we've all been there, right?
If it's
like,
crowded, you got to do what you got to do. But
so,
like, if it's just you and this guy, and you just get that guy who's just like right next to you, who's just like
there's
really.
There's 2 other urinals. Go to
the entire time that we've been at Cinemark, I think like a total of like a dozen people have seen my dick, because I've seen them like look over and like look down.
What is this? Okay, what you know, it's funny. I don't even think this is our first time talking about bathroom etiquette on the podcast, but like, what is with fucking dudes who like, yeah, you go in the restroom and. Like, listen, so sometimes it just happens, right, where you're doing your business and you just kind of, you accidentally look where you're not supposed to look. You're like, oh, shit. But, like, yeah, there are dudes who make it really obvious. They're like, whoa, you got it going on. Like, get the hell out of my junk. What are you doing?
Well, it's just like, I know some people are, like, really curious about it, but it's just like, it's just rude.
By the way, I am live right now. I just wanted to get this urinal conversation.
Yeah. Have you ever pissed in one of those troughs? Like if you go to like really.
If you go to the county fair or like a baseball game.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking metal, like it's like the shit that you feed pigs in and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you just piss against that fucking aluminum siding and shit like that. It's just like, oh god, this is so awkward. Yeah, I don't. And like, there's no stalls. I want to go.
I don't get it. Like, or like, here's the thing. Like, so like, for example, here's a common scenario that happens, right? You're at a late night movie, and like, you're at like a Marvel movie, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Indigestion.
Wait, what?
Did you indigestion?
Oh no, just like I thought for like half a second I was going to like sneeze, but then I didn't. So. Hello, Big Dubs. How you doing?
Hello, what up, Big Dubs?
Big D. So
I still need to go live. I'm just trying to find a good segue.
But yeah, you can go live. I don't like set up your stuff while I tell this story.
All right, and we're live.
Okay, great.
Cool.
But no, so here's a common scenario, right? You're at the movies with your friends. And you're at like Black Panther, okay? And the movie gets out, and like 20 different dudes.
It's like 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah. 20.
It's like you're groggy. Yeah. You're tired.
20 different dudes.
Super spazzed up from all the soda or whatever the hell you drink.
20 different dudes are gunning for the bathroom because they've been holding it for like 2 hours. Now. And so you have no choice but to just kind of wait your turn in line and go use the urinal. But like, what I fucking hate, and like, listen, I love discussing movies as much as the next guy, but like, there have been times where I've gone to the theater and I'm using the urinal, I'm doing God's work, and there's like a guy, and he'll just start like, he'll look directly at me and be like, what did you think about Wakanda? And it's like, motherfucker, like, I'm trying to pee.
My dick is out. The dicks are out. When the dicks are out, the mouth is shut.
I don't.
Well,
God, that's horrible.
With your partner.
That's horrible.
I know. But still, like, when the dicks are out in the bathroom, like, this ain't the fucking Sopranos where, like, they talk about whacking some dude in a bathroom in Vesuvio.
Like, please, if you're, like, if you're in a male restroom, like, general rule of thumb, like, if you don't know somebody, like, if you don't go to the restroom with a friend, or like if you're a father and you're taking your son to the bathroom, like, obviously, like, you can like help him, whatever. But like, if you go into a bathroom and you are a stranger, like, and you don't know this person, that you're like, why are you trying to engage in conversation in a bathroom? I don't get it.
Well, some people just don't have no social filter.
Right.
That's really all it comes down to it. Like, they don't seem to realize that we are in like the sanctorum. We are in like we're in like a monastery,
This
and
is
we
like
all need to take our vow. We need to take our vow of silence the second you go through that threshold.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you need to like.
Oh, we follow through. We zip down.
Yeah, I know.
The river
Yes.
flow.
Like, the bathroom is an awkward place regardless of who you are. And like,
Yeah.
I just don't understand this weird mentality of like, hey, this would be a great place to ask for directions. Okay.
Well, it's just like I remember some guy, like it was like a Marvel movie or something like that. It was like late at night. I'm groggy as shit. I worked that morning, so I was just like, I'm exhausted. And I remember there's this guy like frantically like going around the bathroom. He's just like, "Have you seen my son? Have you seen my son?" And then he comes up to me while I'm pissing. He's like, "Have you seen my boy?" And it's like, dude, no, I'm pissing right here. Just leave me alone.
Big Dubs in the chat says, my family makes fun of me because I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z. You know what, Big Dubs? You are valid because Dragon Ball Z is overrated as fuck.
I honestly, I really prefer
That's right, I
the
said it.
4-star. I really prefer DBZ abridged as opposed, because the writing is hilarious, and like you still get like a lot of the good fights. They don't edit around it, and plus like it's a lot quicker. You're not standing around monologuing for like 5 episodes while Goku's going Super Saiyan.
I'm gonna put my mic a little farther away, and then I'm gonna do.
As opposed. Are you just clenching yourself?
That's me powering up. I gotta power up.
Apparently, like Dragon Ball Z is like one of the worst gigs for a voice actor to do because like they just have to scream so much. I think that who's the guy who does Goku? I think it's Kyle Haybear.
Oh yeah.
And like I think he's gone on record saying like he's passed out in the booth several times because of screaming.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I'm sure he's exhausted after like 3 takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like your voice is just completely blown out.
We should probably start the actual show now.
I know.
Welcome to the Weekly Chat with 𝐏𝐥𝐞𝐚. Today is March 9th, 2021. I am Patrick, aka the Obsidian Man.
I am Unlucky Magician 76, also known as Nick, also known as Dr. Strangelove now.
Also known as the Gangster of Love. And some people call him Maurice. Welcome to the show.
What a shit show. Literal shit and piss show.
So far so good. We're gonna start the show.
I'm having fun.
We're gonna start the show like always. Ed, you have a story to tell us this week. I'm excited.
I know. Oh God.
How was your week this week?
Okay. So usually the building that I work in, I don't want to say where.
Right.
But it's an old building. You've seen the building. It's an old building.
It's like you know the house from Monster House? It's basically what it looks like, except it's not a monster.
Yeah. We are the true monsters of our place of business. I almost said where we work. Anyway, so I work in the kitchen. And sometimes, more often than not, the gas just goes off. Sometimes if there's a power outage or something like that, like all the pilots and all the pieces of equipment just go off. I was like, okay. But usually there's a charge control, or there's like a gas controller on top of the breaker box. I know exactly where it is. And 99 times out of 100, you just flip the switch on, you light all the pilots. It's a pain in the ass, cuts into my prep time, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So I press the button, saunter on over to the stove, get a stick lighter, try lighting the pilots. None of the pilots are going on. I was like, oh, maybe it just needs to sit for a couple minutes. So I wait a few more minutes, and none of the pilots work. I try, maybe it's just the stove. Try lighting the fryer, doesn't work. Try lighting the grill, doesn't work. Try lighting the oven, doesn't work. And I'm just like, oh, no, this is a problem. So I call my boss, and he's just like, hey, the gas isn't working. He's just like, oh, have you tried this, and this? Is like, yeah, I've done it like several times.
Have you tried turning it on and off?
No, that's literally what he told me to do.
Oh, God.
And I'm just like,
I
oh,
was
crap.
joking.
I know. So we try turning it on and off. It's not working. So he comes in like 30 minutes. Like I'm literally about to open up the restaurant in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And we're just like, oh crap, we can't get the gas to go on. Like the pilots we can't light any of the pilots. What's going on? And we're just like, oh crap. So the general manager of the place is just like, wait a minute. We can't do anything here, but there's a flat top grill in the storage that we can use. And I was like, okay.
Grill? Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, it gets better.
Oh god.
So it's stored, and we noticed there's no cover on the grill.
Nope, of course
and
not.
It's been sitting out for over a year, and just like this thick layer of like it looks like.
Was this in the storage? So like I know the place you're talking about. Was this in the storage shed?
It's in what we call the corral.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like right next to it's on the patio.
Oh, okay.
And back in the back corner where there's like an exit door, there's like a little like square storage where we store like used propane tanks and like brooms and shit like that.
So this isn't like the outdoor shed. There's like a shed.
No.
Oh, okay, got it.
No, it's not even a shed. Like there's no roof to it. There's just like it's just like it's like a pen almost, like a pig pen.
Okay, this is it's not what I was thinking then, because there was a time where I had to go to your place of business, and there was like a shed on the other side of the building, and inside the shed there was like a whole like portable bar station that I had to help haul one time. Anyway, not relevant to the story. Please continue.
So I see it. And the whole flat top, which is supposed to be silver and chrome, has this thick layer of like hardened grease. It looks like paint.
Gross.
Or obsidian and rust. And we're just like, there's no way we can cook with. And my general manager's like, can you clean it? And I was like,
Can you clean it?
I could certainly try. So I spend the better part of an hour with like it looks like a paint scraper. I'm just hammering this thing like a forge. I'm just going ting ting ting. I'm putting degreaser on it. I put Ajax. I had like the grill bricks that I used to clean the grill. One of my weird superpowers is I can make a grill like clean, like clean. I can put like a literal mirror shine on almost any flat top grill. So much so to the point where like the owners and like the head chefs for the company is like, how did you do that? It's just like a lot of hard work. I've been cleaning these things for almost like 10 years. Anyway, so I'm literally hammering on this thing. And my boss was just like, why don't we turn on the grill and maybe it'll be better if it's hot and then you try to scrape it off.
Oh no, that seems like a bad idea.
Oh, it gets better, trust me.
That seems horrible. Because like,
it is.
Because you said this was grease, right?
Well, no, it's like hardened. It's like black. It looks like somebody painted the top of the flat top black.
It's like hardened grease, right? Like hardened.
Yeah, it's like hard. Yeah, it's hardened grease.
Oh god, did it go up in flames? I'll let you tell the story about it.
I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
All right. So we're just like, okay, we'll try. So apparently this thing is a huge piece of crap to where like you have to light it in a certain way where you almost have to flood the entire system with gas to the point where you smell the gas and we're trying to light it.
Oh no.
So me and my boss were trying to figure this out for like 20 minutes. And then my other boss comes in saying like, okay, here, let me light this real quick. He lights it. And then immediately his right arm and my boss, they just got enveloped in like this tiny little fireball.
Oh.
It was a quick one. Like he didn't hurt himself. He just lost a bunch of his hair, but it was just like this loud and like this big, like,
oh my
and
god.
we're just like, and I'm just like, oh my god. And like, we're in the middle of oh god. So we're just like, all right, so it's on now. And then it's really funny because then the security guard, who's also a plumber, got involved. He's just like, well, this doesn't make any sense because we still get hot water. So the water heaters must be working. So we must be getting gas. Maybe somebody shut off a valve somewhere. It was like, all right, you can take a look. So we're looking around, nothing. And then it's like, ah, crap, we can't find it. I was like, all right. I got to do something. It's like almost 7 o'clock. The restaurant's been open for 2 hours and I haven't made a single
Ah.
dish. So I'm literally just like hammering on this thing. And then all of a sudden the security guard comes in. It's like, hey, we fixed the problem. I was like, what do you mean you fixed the problem? It's like, oh, the gas is working again. And I'm just like, what do you mean the gas is working again? You found the valve? It's like, yeah. So it turns out I don't want to say where it is, but like there is a master valve outside of the restaurant.
Right.
Like you know how there's like a grassy
Yeah, yeah.
area
The
in
little
front of the place?
the little like patio area, yeah.
Yeah. Where the patio is, there's like an L pipe with the gas valve on it that somebody turned off. And we theorized because like it was a mess. Like somebody was camping there. So we theorized that
Oh.
somebody was camping there, like some homeless guy, and that they must have turned off the valve. But yeah, that's it. And then so I had to rush in, turn on all the equipment. I can't just make stuff like right then and
Right,
there. I
right.
have to wait like 10 minutes.
You have to wait for
Like 10, 15.
for like the fryer oil, and you have to wait for the grill to heat up, and you have to like lubricate the grill.
Yeah. Well, no, I lubricate the grill like as it heats up, so that way it kind of creates like a nice grease layer for it's kind of like a cast iron skillet.
Hopefully, none of that stuff will catch up on fire. You know what's cool is for Christmas, my sister gave our family. So we have a bunch of like cast iron skillets, and we have a bunch of cast iron like pans and stuff.
Mhm.
They're kind of a pain in the ass to clean because you can't just put a cast iron skillet in the sink and clean it with soap and water because
No.
you the thing
All
with
that rust.
yeah
all
yeah
the rust.
it's gonna rust, but also you don't want to use soap because there's flavor. You want flavor to be cooked into all this stuff, right? So
Yeah.
so we're making stuff like kielbasa sausage and like rice pilaf and like eggs, and like there's all that good flavor in there. And so what you have to do is like you have to manually scrub it with just water, and it's really hard to do that. So for Christmas, my sister got us this thing, and at first I was sort of like, what the hell is this? I don't know what it's called, but essentially what it is, it's like a little like it's a little like it's like a square of chainmail. It's like these little metal
Oh,
it's like these little metal
I've
rings.
seen those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little it's like a little like tissue sized square of chainmail. And what you do is you put a little bit of water in your cast iron and you scrub it, and this thing makes cast irons like spotless. It's to the point where I used to dread having to clean the cast iron. Now I'm like, yeah, let's clean the cast iron, bitch.
I got my magical +1 chainmail cleaner.
It's
Let's go.
really cool because like I'm like I get to pull it out and I feel badass. I'm like, oh wow, burnt char and pieces of food. You're no match for me.
I got my +1 chainmail scrubbing pad.
Like I think it has an actual name, but I always call it the chainmail.
Yeah.
Like
It's like steel wool, but not really.
I think it's better than steel wool because I feel like steel wool like here's the thing with steel wool.
It shreds the seasoning that you
Yeah.
built up on the cast
Well, not only
iron.
that, I feel that like so steel wool is good exactly the first time that you use it. After you use it even one time, steel wool just gets fucked. I find that like
Yeah,
it like
it like it,
the
it like
particles
loses its edge.
the particles
Yeah,
of
the
food get caught
particles
up in
get
it.
there. And then like especially if you're cleaning grease, like greasy like steel wool is like one of the grossest
Yeah,
things
yeah,
to
fuck that.
hold. And plus, like you can't really wear gloves because it'll shred your gloves too.
Yeah,
And
if you're
I'm just
wearing
like, oh,
wearing
this is
rubber
so
gloves and you're
gross.
trying to like clean some dishes or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
Anyway,
Oh man.
my
But yeah,
week
that was my lovely night at my gasless night.
my week was like pretty boring. I started doing my taxes.
Oh, nice.
I started doing
Do you
my
owe
taxes.
Do you owe the tax man anything?
Probably. I haven't like I did like I started my federal. I haven't started my state yet.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna owe a little bit,
Did
but
you
like
did you get the unemployment with the $600
yeah.
in there? Yeah. So
I got all that.
I think I'm gonna have to owe like that. Like
I
maybe
can't.
like
And by the
10%
way,
of,
I cannot believe that they're going to tax fucking like stimulus. Anyway, I don't want to get into it, but like,
No, they're not taxing stimulus. They're taxing like the federal aid stuff, like the CARES Act stuff.
oh, okay, great.
So your stimmy checks,
Stibby.
they'll get that. That's what the
No,
kids.
I know. I love the term stibby. Please continue.
I know. Although, yeah, so they're not taxing the actual stimulus checks. They are taxing like the extra $600 that you get.
Okay.
So I think you could either pay it off right then and there, or you can
That's
like split it.
That's what I opted in to do. Was like basically every time that I certified, I basically said like, hey, pay towards my taxes.
Well, that only goes so far.
Right.
Because that only takes out the stuff from like your initial like unemployment,
Okay.
but the extra 600 on top of that you might owe.
Okay.
So if you get a big tax bill, that's why.
Okay.
That's gonna be fun. Taxes and 1099s. I'll have to file
Yeah.
my.
I have like
it sucks because
God,
I have to file like 3 1099s.
I have
this
like
year.
I have a whole cavalcade of shit I have to file because like I have my Cover California. I have my federal and state Cover California through Blue Shield crap. I have like 3 different like tax return things that I've gotten from different places. And it's a whole nightmare. Anyway, I started doing that. I haven't finished it yet.
No, for sure.
And that's really about it for the most part. I had kind of a boring week.
Yeah. Aside from my gasless night and what else did I do? Nothing much really. I just kind of just worked and slept, same as last week.
Yeah, basically me too.
But that's all we could really do in this new age of ours, the age of Corona, the age of the Rona.
My Corona.
My Corona.
Anyway, let's dig into our various topics and things for the week.
Okay.
Let me pull it up.
Pump it up, pump it down.
Okay. Right. All right. So, the repertoire for this week, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This week it's gonna be a little spicy. It's a little, just a little. I promise. I'm gonna rein in the vinegar this week. But like, I'm gonna warn you. I'm gonna warn you. I'm gonna warn you ahead of time. There's some spice this week. So.
If it's what I think it is,
but we're gonna start off on a lighter note. We're gonna be talking about. So first off, we're gonna be talking about The Devil is a Part-Timer, Part 2.
Part 2. Finally, after 8 years.
So that's gonna be. We're gonna start off with that. That'll be
kids.
That'll be a nice
season
little
2s do come true,
right? Then,
Mom, I want to go to McDonald's. We have McDonald's at home.
Then we got to talk about really important adult shit. That's right. I'm talking about Dr. Seuss.
Oh no.
And by extension, Mr. Potato Head.
Mr. Potato.
Oh god. And then later, this actually just came out today. We're gonna be talking about YouTube and Google, our best buddy pals. Oh god. Minor behind the scenes crap. I've had to deal with a couple of like bullshit copyright claims and shit from YouTube involving our channel. So like, okay, what? It's so dumb. Okay, so you remember
the Weekly Chat channel?
Yeah.
Have we got a strike yet?
We did, but it got resolved. And here's what happened. Remember that week where we reacted to trailers?
Oh.
So for some insane reason, YouTube flagged our Justice League footage. Because like,
of course,
but like it was weird because I literally went to YouTube and typed in Justice League trailer reaction, and there was like 40 videos. And so I disputed the claim, and I said, "There's literally 40 videos, and some of them have like 100K views and are being monetized. Like, what is going on?" And like to YouTube's credit, like 20 minutes
count
after,
how many times you could say that.
To YouTube's credit, like 20 minutes after I filed the counterclaim, it got resolved. So like credit to them. But like, so yeah, that's something we have to work on. Like I have to figure out a way to do trailer reactions and stuff because Big Papa YouTube is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So like they seem to really like I think their main issue was the fact that I full screened the trailer. Because
oh no, I try to make it as small as humanly possible, so that way, like
I think that was my.
I do that split screen thing, like that drag and drop thing, where it's like I just try to make the screen as small as humanly possible, and I try to blow us up a little bit because
that was my bad. I probably I I just figured that because there's so many people who have monetized content that do this, that it would just be like whatever. And like obviously it's not us, like it's not the whole video, like it's only like a minute and a half segment of this like 3-hour video is like,
Yeah.
hey, here's our reaction to Justice League. So like I have to figure
it's not like
I gotta figure that stuff out.
And we're putting commentary over it. Like,
Right. Like I for the most part, I've like not muted, but like I've put the audio to such a small percentage that our commentary over the trailer footage is the dominant thing you hear. So it's not like it's not like I just like, here, I stole this.
Well, it's just like there are a bunch of those like movie trailer channels that just take the trailers and just upload them for themselves.
I'm not a big fan of this guy anymore, but like literally Mr. Sunday Movie's entire channel is like, let's break down the Justice League trailer. Like, you know, like that's his whole channel.
But
that's his whole channel.
What? Yeah, I know. But what's your beef with Mr. Sunday Movies? I thought you liked him.
No beef. I don't him the person I don't mind. I got no beef.
I just maybe like the content's kind of wore out its welcome a little bit.
Yeah, that's nail on the head. That's where I'm at. I just am like
although to be fair, I'm in the exact same boat because I haven't watched a Mr. Sunday Movies video in like months.
Like him, the guy is fine. I actually think he's quite funny and quite talented, but like I'm also just like it's not just him. It's like I'm really sick of the Marvel cinema, and like I know that WandaVision is kind of in the news right now, so like I know this is kind of like, you know,
I know. Have you seen my
grain of salt and whatnot? But like
I know. Have you seen my icon?
I saw that. Yeah, that's
oh my god, that's
but I'm just like I'm honestly kind of relieved that Marvel has taken like a break during the pandemic, and you know they wouldn't have done that if the pandemic wasn't a thing, right?
Oh yeah. Well, it's like we would have seen like Black Widow like last year.
But I'm just like, I am just kind of
Falcon the Winter Soldier's coming out in a couple weeks.
I just find a lot less satisfaction with like let's break down every meticulous detail of this Thor the Dark World trailer. Like
oh god.
I used to, you know, I used to kind of like that sort of content where it's like, look, in the background you can see a poster of Rocket Raccoon. That's a reference to Guardians of the Galaxy. Like that, like I'm not saying that stuff. I'm not saying that stuff isn't fun, and like there's clearly an audience for that kind of content. Me personally though, I just like it doesn't do it for like, and by like I'm picking on Mr. Sunday Movies. He's hardly the only person who does this.
No, they all like IGN, like all those big guys. They do it like,
and so
I think like the well has been kind of like honestly. The best way that I have experienced WandaVision is by not watching any of like the lore things and just going completely blind.
So like,
because you're just so saturated with the MCU, so it just kind of rings hollow.
So an example of this type of content that I do really like, there's a YouTube channel called Johnny Two Cellos. Johnny Two Cellos.
I think I've heard of that guy.
So his whole thing is that he does commentary videos on like animated sitcoms and stuff. So like he has videos about like Tuca and Birdie and BoJack Horseman and
I have seen that guy. He did some King of the Hill stuff.
King of the Hill, yeah. So he's done that kind of thing. But what I like about his videos is that they're less like, here's like 7 things you missed about BoJack Horseman, and his videos are like,
they're like video essays.
Yeah, exactly. Like
they're breaking down like certain topics, like why the victim complex in Bill is very toxic and problematic and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. That kind like I like that type of I like analysis more than I do like, oh Jesus, now I do have indigestion. Pardon me.
Picky.
I like that kind of analysis content more than like, and again, I'm not trying to pick on anybody here. Like, if you really get jazzed about Easter eggs in the background of Marvel movies, like that's awesome. I have at it. I don't care. But me personally, I'm just kind of over. I'm over that type of content. I'm kind of over. Honestly, I'm kind of over the MCU. I'm kind of over I'm kind of over the DCEU. Like just in general, I'm kind of over it. And So like,
Are you?
the,
Quick question.
yeah.
Are you excited at all for the Robert Pattinson Batman movie because it's not
Okay.
DC?
All right. Yes, I am excited, but because Robert Pattinson is the fucking shit, and
Yeah.
I will watch that for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's like
I'll watch that for
find
sure.
that a lot of like the one shot like DC movies like Joker and then the Batman looks really good, and like to a lesser extent Shazam because they don't really reference like
I like Shazam. That was fun.
all those like single shot ones are like really really good.
I even kind of like I even kind of
do
think
like Aquaman.
I think Aquaman was pretty great.
It's so much fun.
It's dumb as fuck, but it's fun.
Oh, it's so dumb, but it's so much fun.
It's a good dumb
You get
romp.
Mary Poppins as the Cthulhuoid.
I'm
like,
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Mary Poppins, y'all. It's basically just Flash Gordon, but underwater.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun.
And like, so what irritates me about like the DC fanboys is like they'll criticize Aquaman and they'll be like, can you believe the scene where the octopus was playing the bongos? That's so unrealistic. It's like, you're watching a movie about a guy in Atlantis, and like, that's your problem?
You're basically just
like,
watching you're basically just watching like the first half of Phantom Menace like spread out over like a 2.5-hour movie.
Well, technically speaking, megalodons aren't alive, so Aquaman couldn't ride one at the end of the movie. It's like you're watching a movie about a guy who can talk to fish.
Yeah. And who shoots lasers.
Like,
you were basically watching just Fish King Arthur.
So let me get this straight. Your suspension of disbelief is so far gone to the point where, like, I can believe a man is part fish person and can live underwater, but like an octopus playing the drums and a megalodon, that's too much. To quote Sarah Lynn, that's too much, man.
Well, it's just one of those things where like we went through this dark history of comic book movies where they tried to make realistic superheroes. Like I remember like Zack Snyder when he made Watchmen, where he's just like, yeah, I tried to make this as realistic as humanly possible. But if you really look at it, there's no way that any of the heroes aside, like,
have you seen
the whole point of Watchmen was to like, oh, real people in like sort of like being swallowed up by a comic book. Like the only superpowered person in that show was supposed to be Dr. Manhattan.
Right.
But if you really look at the movie, like they all have superpowers. They're like caving in people's like kneecaps.
Like,
they're like throwing people like 10 feet away. Like Rorschach when he like gets thrown and just lands on that fucking pillar. Like he should have been fucking dead.
Like
and he just gets up and just like,
you know what I've never understood about Watchmen is like the comedian. Like, how is he so strong? Is he on like steroids? Is he just really strong? Like I don't
talking about comic book comedian, or are you talking about movie comedian?
I'm talking about both, I guess. But I guess like the movie, like I guess the movie version, like why is he so strong? I don't like he's just a guy, right? Like
they're all really strong.
He's just a guy, right? Like I don't.
He's just supposed to be a guy that shoots guns,
right?
Like he's like a weird amount.
But like it's weird because he can like he can like punch a bolt, like he can
he punches through the wall and then like he punches through like a marble countertop.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. Like wait, what? He doesn't have superpowers, right? It's like
well, it's like almost all the heroes in that movie have like super strength to some extent.
Anyway, before we sorry, going back to YouTube, we're gonna be talking about how YouTube just today. They are talking about how if you make YouTube content outside of the United States, guess what? You're going to be taxed for your YouTube ad revenue from the United States. We'll discuss that later in the show.
I'm sorry, Trash Taste Podcast. You got to pony up to the IRS.
And then at the end of the show, we are going to talk about very briefly our discussion of our 5 top movies of right now. Like, what are your 5 favorite movies? And we'll talk about each of them for about like 30 seconds to a minute. Maybe someday we'll do like a big in-depth video where we talk about like more in-depth, like we'll take turns, like what's your number 5? What's my number 5? What's your number 4? What's my, like, we'll do that, but like we'll do that.
I don't know about that because my top 5 switches and flows so goddamn much, like the tide.
I think that's I happen to think that if you're this is gonna sound so elitist. If you're the type of person, if you're the type of person who really appreciates film, your opinion about which ones are your favorite are constantly in flux.
Yeah.
Like
Like my
constantly,
top five, like 5 years ago, is nowhere near. Like, is there any? Hang on. Is there any like from the past like 5 years that Because I've swapped out a lot.
I have 2 movies that have been in my top 5 for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I have 2.
Don't even get me started on top 10 because top 10 is like
no,
just
that's why I said 5. Anyway,
yeah.
So that's our show. So let's get started. We're already starting, but like we had our little mini discussion about the DCEU. Okay, so let's talk about The Devil is a Part-Timer Part 2. Wow,
Part
incredible.
2. I know. Satan goes to work for McDonald's.
Yes.
Where is the founder crossover with
right?
The Devil's a Part-Timer?
So let me just talk real quick about let's talk about the culture and the climate that the original, and the reason why this is a big deal and why a sequel to the series is being looked at as like, whoa, that's coming back. So first of all, it's pretty rare for like a lot of series struggle to get a second season. Like if you're not like if you're not printing out of like Shonen Jump magazine, like for example, if you're not like a Boku My Hero Academia type of story or type of manga, the odds of you getting a second season are increasingly slim. It's very slim.
Yeah.
So you have to be like really, really popular to get a second season. So back in the day, you would have a show like Ouran Host Club that would have like a 24 episode run, and like that would 24
and
episodes.
That's all you get.
Well, like a 24 episode run would be enough time to complete a series. Nowadays, however, you get like 12. You get a 12 episode season
12
1
episodes, maybe an OVA if it's kind of popular, and that's it.
And if you don't take, and if the popularity of the books and the DVD sales isn't enough, you just get scrapped. So
you get pushed off to the wayside.
So see things like,
or worse, they have a read the manga type ending, and then they just tell you to fuck off. And you don't get anything.
So anime like One Outs, and anime like Bus Gamer, and anime like Jellyfish Princess, they're all really great anime, but they only have one season, and the reason that is because they just weren't that popular. And so like, and by the way, like, you want to talk about a series that deserves a second season, it's Princess Jellyfish. Anyway, so I bring all this to bear because back in the day, when The Devil is a Part-Timer came out, you also have to realize, so there, all that stuff that I just talked about is relevant, but also what was relevant, especially back then, was it was the dawn of the isekai. We kind of take it for granted nowadays.
Yeah.
And
because I think SAO just came out a year before, so that sort of opened the floodgates.
At the time, we had stuff like Sword Art Online and Konosuba, and like what was around back then. There was a couple different things.
No, Konosuba came out in like 2000, like 3 years after.
Oh, really?
SAO.
But anyway, like
SAO was kind of like just opening up the floodgates because it just became so goddamn fucking popular.
But so nobody, and like I'm sure that like. I'm not saying that like reverse isekai hadn't happened before. So like you do have stuff like Digimon, for example, where like the Digimon like come to the real world. But like I feel like The Devil is a Part-Timer was one of the first in the era when isekai was like fresh. It was like it was one of the first anime and manga to be like, so we've done the normal guy goes to the fantasy world thing. What if we do like a fantasy character comes to the real one? And so like and again, there was things in the past like Hercules in New York and stuff like that, right? Where like,
well, it's like even with anime there was like
this has happened before.
Like Escaflowne to like a small degree, because the main character kind of shows up in the real world and then they go back. And then you even have stuff like Dot Hack Sign.
Exactly.
Where it's like that was like a lot of the inspiration for SAO season 1 wasn't. It's like, oh, he's trapped in a game and he can't log out.
And
what's going on?
I think the reason that The Devil is a Part-Timer took on, let me very briefly, if you've never seen the show, the plot of The Devil is a Part-Timer is that in a fantasy world in a fantasy world separate from the real world, it's like a D&D type thing. There's like it's a pretty stock setup. Like, the forces of darkness are fighting the forces of light, and the army of the Demon King is fighting the army of the knights and the paladins and all the good guys. And so during the first episode of the show, the armies of Satan, the armies of the Demon King, are defeated by the heroes. And so the first lieutenant of the Demon King is like, "Sir, we gotta get out. I'm gonna get you out of here, bro." And so the Demon King and his first lieutenant, they escape through a portal into the real world. Like, so these characters from like Lord of the Rings, like it's like the equivalent if like Aragorn and like Legolas walked into like New York, New York, like that kind of thing, right? And so you have this premise where the first episode of The Devil's a Part-Timer is probably one of the funniest things. It's probably one of the best first episodes of an anime of all time, because you have the Demon King and his like first lieutenant, who, and like, by the way, they're all decked out in their like medieval fantasy shit. And so like the Demon King has like horns, and he's got this like black cloak and armor, and he's like, I'll fucking.
Like they kind of revert to a human form when they get to the real world.
And so the Demon King and his first lieutenant, they find themselves trapped in the human world, and they realize like, oh shit, help isn't coming. We gotta figure out. We gotta figure out this whole mess and how to survive and get back to the fantasy world. So the main character goes from being this like Demon King of Darkness to working at a McDonald's. And
it is amazing.
And the first lieutenant of the Demon King's army goes from being this like legendary general commander of the dead to being like a house husband.
A house husband. Oh man. I can't wait for that Yakuza house husband show to come out. And
so based on just that premise, you might be like, wow, that seems really dumb. And it kind of is, but it's sort of genius how it works.
Yeah.
And I know what you're thinking, like, what makes
the show tick?
What is so fascinating about watching a guy like working at a McDonald's? And I don't know. That's the thing. It's kind of hard to explain unless you haven't seen the show. But like, it feels,
it's not as mean. It's very light, but it's not like, it's not super mean spirited like Konosuba is. Like, because Konosuba is basically just like SAO meets It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This.
Oh, sorry about that.
Dogs.
I was just telling my dogs to shut up. Sorry.
Who left this roast chicken boy right here?
But like, I think what makes Devil's a Part-Timer so good is that it feels for a premise this silly and goofy, it feels extremely humble and organic.
Yeah.
And I know what that sounds like. That's like this premise is like this dumb premise, but you actually do get to like the main character. So he can't call himself the Demon King, so he calls himself Sadao Mao.
Sadao Mao, yeah.
And so like he integrates himself into the real world. Like he and his general, they get like IDs, they rent an apartment, and they have to figure stuff out. Like, what are we gonna eat? Can we afford rent? Can we like how are we going to survive?
It's just the trials and tribulations, like going on dates, how to get to work.
Yeah, exactly.
How are we gonna pay for this month's rent?
Yeah, exactly. And
it's like almost like Perfect Stranger or whatever the hell it's called.
And
like it's a sitcom basically, it's done.
It's a sitcom done in a charming way. And so it's sort of the daily life. We sort of have this mundane thing working at a fast food restaurant, and you have this guy who is like essentially the devil. One might even call him a part-timer. You have this guy who is like the Lord of Darkness, and he has to do something that is seen by most people as being this like really menial, pointless bullshit job.
But no, one of the cool things about Mal that really like sets him apart is because like he gives it like he's just like, oh, I fucking hate this, like Clerks or something like that.
It's not like Clerks,
He loves it. He's just like, this is fucking like, I'm gonna put my 100% in this. I'm gonna beat my sales quota and defeat my enemies over at the other branch.
Exactly. I keep calling it McDonald's. So in universe, it's called McRonald's, but like you all know. It's like,
well, also I feel like what also helped its popularity too, like it was on Netflix for like I don't know, still on there, but
I think it is. Yeah.
it was on there for quite a long time. So a lot of people discovered this show and fell in love with it.
Yeah,
And everybody was just yelling at Netflix, like, "Give us a season 2!"
And so what I like about the Devil's Part-Timers is you're exactly right. Is like 𝐍𝐭, he goes from being this demon king, and like he gets so enthusiastic about like, I'm gonna beat my fry sales quota. I'm gonna be the best district manager of the entire Tokyo area or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And his enthusiasm is infectious, and it's hard to explain without watching it, but you get to really care about him and his struggles. Like you hope that he beats his sales quota, and you hope that he can like help man the register, and you hope that he can like, you hope that he can help his coworkers out, and like and I guess that's it, right? You feel something.
It's really weird because like when you're thinking of like the devil as a part-timer, you're thinking of like some weird like, oh, is it going to be like Clerks or like Waiting or something like that, where they're just like fucking
Really,
with people's food and
really
shit like that?
satirical, really like
super satirical, but
yeah.
no, it's kind of along the lines of like Cheers almost, where like people who
Cheers is way darker than The Devil's a Part-Timer. No, Cheers.
No, but what I'm saying is like the people that work at the Cheers bar are happy, except for Rhea Perlman.
Right.
But for the most part, the people that are there are happy to be there, and like they like working there.
Everybody knows your name.
What's your name? The devil goes to Cheers.
Oh my god. Hey guys, I brought you those fries. You wanted? Is this purgatory? Is this purgatory? Yeah. Exactly. Wow.
Whatever you say, Coach.
Whoever made this is a real dick.
Then, his life is kind of like in this constant cycle, because it's almost like this Tom and Jerry-esque cat and mouse chase because people from his previous life come to
people. It's kind of like Dragon Maid, where like where people from the fantasy world,
like Dragon.
People from the fantasy world figure out that like, oh, Satan is here in Tokyo. We got to go to Tokyo.
We gotta destroy him or capture him or something.
And so, one of the best characters is I believe her name is Amelia, right?
Amelia the hero.
So Amelia is one of the first characters from the fantasy world to figure out, and so Amelia is like, she's like the best holy knight of the good guy kingdom. She's like a paladin. She's like she's really she has lots of like, she's very virtuous and righteous, and
very knightly.
She's motivated by justice, and she's going to banish all darkness, like that kind of thing. And
then she goes to work in an office.
And so then she figures out, oh, Satan is in Tokyo. I'm gonna go there. And so it's really weird because when she first shows up, she's like trying to plot ways to kill him, and then she sees him working and being happy, and like, what's the catch? What's he trying to do? Like he's clearly has some kind of grift.
Is this some weird plot to take over the world, a la Pinky and the Brain? And he's just like, oh, I really hope I beat my burger quotas this year.
Yeah, and so it's weird because Amelia the hero and Satan basically become like friends. It's weird. Like
they're like frenemies almost.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the beats of the show.
Yeah. Also, like, I just love all the characters. Like, what the hell is her name? The little bubbly girl. Chio?
Yeah, Chio. Yeah, I think that's her name.
Yeah, Chio, who's like his coworker, who is Satan's coworker, but also has like a major mad crush on him.
Yeah.
And then, who else shows up?
There's like
there's like I want to say his name is Lucifer.
So there's Lucifer and Satan. There's like a couple different guys. There's a couple different demons. There's a guy who's Lucifer. There's a guy who's Satan, and there's a guy who's like Baal, I think, or something like that.
Belial.
Yeah, Belial.
Do you say Belial? You say Belial or Baal? Okay.
Well, so I say Baal because I've played Diablo 2 for years, but you know, it is what it is. I've heard both.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's for me, it's the Lamia versus Lamia conversation.
Potato, tomato.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. Speaking of potatoes, we'll get to that. And there'll be no small potatoes.
Oh God, no spuds about it. We really have to hash this issue.
It's strange because, you know, after the first season of The Devil's Part-Timer, there was still kind of hope that like, oh, please bring it back. And so like a year passes, 2 years. So like, there's kind of this like threshold point of sequels where if you get like 3 years past the first season of something, and
it just kind of expires,
and there's no sequel to it, like,
yeah,
you're done.
It's very rare. Like, it's up until recently that we got the new seasons of a certain magical index in Railgun after what, like 10 years.
Well, at the very least, those series had like an entire franchise to build on. So like you could justify and pitch like a sequel to Magical Index, or honestly,
I think they were waiting for the light novels to wrap up.
Dude, I'm not even gonna lie to you, dude. I thought when I started watching Magical Index that I would like the Index story more than the Railgun story.
No, the Railgun story.
The Railgun story is so good.
It's really good.
It's like,
have you seen Accelerator?
Saw, no, I've watched like the first. I watched the first, so it's a little confusing. It's kind of like Monogatari, where like the watch order is kind of fucked. But like I've seen Magical Index season 1. I've seen Railgun season 1. Although, you know, it's weird because did you know you're not supposed to watch like just Index and then just Railgun? You're supposed to watch like Magical Index episodes 1 through 4. Then you're supposed to watch like Railgun.
Oh no, I watched Index first and then I watched Railgun.
No, but like apparently there's a watch order. Like,
oh, get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm not kidding. It's like 𝐏𝐥𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐿, dude.
No, I know you're not kidding. That's why I'm saying get the fuck out of here.
I read this shit.
I will watch it the Monogatari way and just watch it in release order.
Right. I mean, really, that's what you should just do. Yeah, but apparently I read online there's a watch order. You're supposed to watch like episodes 5 through 6 of Magical Index and then Railgun and then Excel. Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit.
My God, this show is way more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah, for a series about people with, but no, yeah, Railgun is great. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to watch more adventures of Sadao Mao, the best burger flipper this side of
he will beat his quota of salt and pepper fries. Yeah!
The Lord of Fries.
The Lord of Fries. Oh God, Lord of the Fries.
I remember watching the original trailer for The Devil's Part-Timer back in the day, and they had that for
that was like one of that was like one of the jokes that they put
the Funimation trailer. They're like the Lord of Fries. Hilarious.
The Lord. Oh my God.
All
Lord
right.
of Fries.
Any final words on The Devil's Part-Timer? Are you excited to watch it?
Oh fuck yeah, I will.
I need to I gotta rewatch the second half. Yeah.
I own it if you want to watch it.
I think it's still on Netflix.
It might be still on Netflix. It might pull that Netflix thing where it's just like, oh well,
the rights expired.
Might be gone. Well, yeah. Oh, it's expired. Oh, we're sorry.
We're sorry. Yeah, exactly.
We're sorry. We're just too busy putting up bangers like Dorihidoru and.
Where's that second season, motherfuckers? It's coming, I know.
I know. The manga's over with, so they should be able to animate the rest of them.
Where's my second season? That show was amazing. I love Dorihidoru.
I know. Like, I didn't expect it to like it as much as I did, but
it's so good. God. I love it.
It's so good.
I think in one of the lost episodes.
It is still on Netflix, but it's leaving on the 31st of March. So get it while you can.
Dinkelberg.
I mean, Klinkleberg. No disrespect to Colleen Klinkleberg. We love her around here, but it's just so much fun to say.
She's in the show, right? Isn't she Amelia? She's Amelia the hero?
I don't think she is Amelia the hero.
Okay, sorry.
Let me look. It's in a book.
I'm getting better about like. I know a lot of the really famous anime dub voice actors, but like I'm trying to improve like my repertoire of like ones that I like specifically know. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that guy.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Josh. Yeah.
Josh Brell.
Amelia is Felicia Angel.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Tia Ballard, Aaron Diamondske, Alex Moore.
While Nick is looking this shit up, you should hit the like button, leave a comment, especially in the first hour of this video. Also, make sure to
We
engage
have
in
to
the comments
fight the
below.
algorithms. She's not in the show, actually.
Hit that notification bell. Hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. And we'll love you forever.
Be our hunchback and ring the bell, dear viewer. Oh, God.
Quasimodo.
Oh.
It is I, Count Frollo. You must ring that notification bell.
I thought it was Judge Frollo.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, whatever. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. Fuck.
Yeah. You know what's really funny? There's a super popular TikTok audio about Hunchback in Notre Dame. I'll have to play it for you one of these days. But it's basically just like Count Frollo just being... Sanctuary! That movie is dark.
That movie's good.
Like,
I love the Hunchback in Notre Dame.
I love Hunchback in Notre Dame. Hellfire is one of my favorite Disney villain songs of all time because it's basically like a fucking opera. It's like a 3-act opera within like 3 minutes. It's awesome. Scared the shit out of your kid. It scares the kids. It scared the shit out of me when I was younger. But I was just like, but I couldn't look away. I was like, oh God, I'm so scared, but I can't look away. I don't think
it scared me so much as like it was sort of like a fear of it was like a sort of a fear of the unknown where I was like, oh God, this is like I didn't know what I was looking at, but I was like, this is clearly something bad, and I feel really uncomfortable. Like,
yeah, well, it's like when the hoods, like the red hoods, show up and stuff like that. They're just judging Frollo for like being horny for.
That's it. Esmeralda.
Esmeralda. That's it.
Destroy Esmeralda, or let her taste the fires of hell, or else let her be mine and mine alone.
Count Frollo. I will burn all of Paris to get her.
I want to audition for so in the Critic TV show they have that parody of the Hunchback just called Hunch.
Hunch? Oh God. Oh man. Yeah, it's have you read the original
no.
Hunchback of
it's,
Notre Dame?
It's on my to-do list of books to read. Although apparently it's one of those books that's like very cynical about human it's very cynical about human nature, and I'm trying to like, I'm not saying that like I'm trying to kind of steer away from like books and media that are like purely
they're just super jaded and cynical.
Listen, I'm cynical as much as the next guy, but there are certain pieces of media like Wanted, for example, is a movie that is like, I'm cynical about the world, but like the movie Wanted is like extremely cynical. Like it's like slitting your wrist, Hot Topic levels of like, fuck the world, man, let it burn, bruh.
Crawling in my skin.
And like,
do you think they'll ever remake Wanted?
I think that kind of stuff has like a time and place, but like just as my life
very much of the time.
Just like as my life stands at the moment, I'm trying to kind of get away from like media that is like just completely fucking cynical about the real world and like the human experience. I'm not saying it doesn't have a place or anything, but like I don't.
Oh, you would hate reading H.P. Lovecraft stuff. That is at the very least 100.
At the very least, with like H.P. Lovecraft, a lot of it is like metaphorical stuff. Well, I mean, H.P. Lovecraft is a whole can of worms because of like what the guy actually believed in and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it some other time on the podcast. But
this guy is not just racist. He's like a race. He's like,
but like
super racist.
So okay, I get.
If you ever just want to go like, what the fuck? Google the name of his cat.
No, I mean, here's the thing. As somebody who's studied literature, this is always a really, really sticky. This is always a really sticky point of discussion for me because on the one hand, obviously, if you look at, I think context is really important when we look at like authors of the past and like historical figures of the past and things like that. It's very easy as somebody from 2021 who is like
to go look like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like it's very easy for you, the modern day progressive 29-year-old something to be like, wow, like if you look at stuff that Mark Twain said, he was probably kind of racist, huh? And I'm like, yeah. But at the same time, and like you can look at like a Mel Brooks movie, for example, and be like, wow, like Blazing Saddles is like kind of racist, huh? And it's like, yeah, but at the same time, like again, like,
well, it's like it's this weird thing where like
think that's really regressive to just say everything is offensive and racist. And listen,
Yeah.
like call out, like it's important to acknowledge and be like, hey, H.P. Lovecraft like said all this fucking toxic shit. You know, I think in order to paint the complete picture of this artist, you have to look at their body of work, and you have to look at what that body of work is trying to say, and you have to kind of see what the individual was actually talking about. And so I think that the positive benefit of H.P. Lovecraft's writing outweighs the fact that he was a racist bigot back in the day. And I'm not saying that I agree with him. Like if I met the guy in real, like if I met him today, he'd probably be a piece of shit. But
yeah,
like,
well, it's like if H.P. Lovecraft was here today,
right?
He'd basically just be like a QAnon, like
oh god, yeah.
Like, he would never leave his house, just spouting racist shit on Facebook or whatever. He would like that was his one claim to fame. Like he never left his house for like anything.
Hey, he's like me.
The only time well, we have no choice. We have to stay indoors.
Right.
But yeah, like H.P. Lovecraft, like he did not like anybody unless if they were like Providence, Rhode Island, like white, which is
right.
mayo on top of Wonder Bread on top of marshmallow fluff.
Okay, so speaking of like weird racism, let's talk about some modern day racism. Okay, I actually don't know, like, so in the news the last couple of days, people have been talking about the bombshell interview with Oprah. Have you heard about this?
I heard about it.
Yeah.
I just kind of like I
was gonna ask you, like, do you know anything about it? I don't know anything about it.
No, I don't know anything about it.
Like,
well, I heard like there was this guy from the BBC or something that was interviewing him, and then the interview went fucking sideways.
Right.
So
the only thing that I know, this is the story as I know it so far, right? So there was this guy who was like a prince of the British royal family. And by the way, like, it's 2021. Why the fuck do we still have the British royal family? Anyway,
well, it's
we have this
it's weird because they're almost like a tourist attraction.
Yeah, they're figureheads. They don't have any actual power.
The real power in the UK
is in the Parliament.
In the Parliament.
Yeah, the Parliament. Right.
It's really weird because the royal family still owns the land, which they collect taxes on. It's this weird. It's like this weird agreement. It's like, okay, you guys still make the decisions, but we still technically own all the land, and we'll still collect the taxes.
Right.
So it's weird.
But yeah, so from based on what I know about the story, is that like one of the princes, I think his name is like Harry or some shit.
Is that the one that left the royal family?
Yeah. So like I said, so he married this woman who, I believe is like, I think
she's like a duchess or something.
I believe she's like part Indian or something. Like I don't know. She's not like white. Is the point? And so he married this woman, and they're in a consensual relationship, and so she got pregnant. And like they were trying to conceive a child, so she got pregnant. And so instead of saying like, instead of the royal family being like, "Wow, that's incredible," they're like, "Wow, hey, but what color is the baby?" Like that was basically from what I gather what the situation is. And so
her name is she's actually a duchess. She's the Duchess of Sussex.
Okay. But and so essentially, instead of being like, "Wow, congratulations, Prince, Mr. Prince," they're like, "But will the baby be black though?" Or like whatever. So like they were like, and so the prince and his wife are like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So
they moved to California, and then they spilled the beans on the Oprah show. Oprah.
Oh my god.
It's Oprah.
I mean, it's Oprah. It's like, I guess
you're all getting racism.
You get some racism. You get some racism.
You get a copy of my book. This is Racism by Oprah Winfrey.
This is racism. But open up the book. There's keys to a Prius.
Oh my god! That's right.
Oh man.
Yes.
Although apparently, like the people that got those cars, I guess it was like some weird thing where like they didn't really get the cars, or they still had to kind of pay for them in a weird
Yeah,
way or
so
something.
the way that I've heard about this is that like essentially the Oprah Winfrey show just did like the down payment on these on a bunch of those cars, and then
Oh, so they actually still had to do the monthly payments.
yeah, so it was like it was sort of like,
Oh,
oh, what the fuck,
gee.
like I didn't I just came to a show, I didn't want to buy a car kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought we were getting tickets to like Jamaica or something, or like a fruit basket or something.
Or a
not
copy of your
whole
book.
Yeah.
Like,
Can you imagine that whole bait and switch? Like if you went to a show, say if we went to a comedy show and there were keys for like a Ferrari under each seat. It's like, you're all getting Ferraris.
you're all
You
getting
still have to-
Countachs.
Yeah, you still have to pay the monthly payments. What?
Nothing.
And you have to pay for the registration and the smog. Yay. Oh God.
Anyway, speaking of comedy, let's talk about Dr. Seuss.
Oh God.
All right, so
Ooh. It's a hot button issue.
okay, so
I hate those damn sneeches. They steal all our jobs.
those Starbelly Sneeches are coming over the border. They're stealing all of our bear bellies.
Oh God.
Anyway, fucking guy.
Wait,
I'm gonna.
Did the bear bellies show up first, or did the star bellies show up first? I think.
Well,
that it
so
was
if you read the book, or I think there's like an animated version too, but like essentially
there is an anime.
I think that the bear belly. This is so fucked up. I think the bear bellies came first. They're like the Native Americans of the Sneetch world, and then the Sneetches with the stars on their belly.
The star belly Sneetches. They're coming over. They're stealing drugs. They're raping our women.
They're not bringing their good people. They're bringing their stars and oh god. I don't even want to make the joke, dude.
I know
it's disgusting.
It's terrible.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so recently. Okay, but like, do I need to explain what Dr. Seuss is for like anyone listening to this podcast? Okay, very briefly. So
let's give him the broad strokes.
Okay, so Dr. Seuss is this guy who wrote a series of these famous children's books, stuff like Cat in the Hat, stuff like One Fish, Two Fish, Three Fish, Blue Fish,
Three Eggs and Ham, the Lorax, the Grinch.
That like fucking The Places You'll Go book that everyone gets at graduation, even though it's a fucking lie. Anyway,
yeah, it's a terrible.
The Places You'll Go.
It was cool in the '60s when it came out because you were able to actually like travel and go places.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But anyway, so yeah, Dr. Seuss is one of the world's most famous children's book authors. Not
a doctor, by the way. Learned that out the hard way.
It's kind of like the whole Joe Biden thing, how she's a doctor of like some study. She's not like a medicine. Yeah, she has a doctorate. She's not a medical doctor. Like so,
I know,
so
like,
that's fine.
But Dr. Seuss is pretty much along the same naming convention as like Dr. Dre. They're not
Dr. Doolittle.
Dr. Doolittle, yeah. Dr. Dre.
There you go.
Yeah, he just started calling himself Doc.
Well, like if he has a doctorate, that's fine.
He doesn't have a doctorate.
Oh well, then I don't know.
he never had it. I'm gonna double check.
I'm pretty sure you can't just call yourself a doctor unless you have some kind. Anyway, so there's kind of like different tiers of Dr. Seuss books. There's like the really famous ones. We mentioned some earlier, right? The Lorax, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Sneetches and the Zacks, those are like.
What was the one where it was basically an allegory for the Cold War?
That could be any number of them. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific.
It's the one where, like, at the very end, they have, like, this, like, pearl that's basically like a nuclear bomb, but they both have one and they're not going to drop it.
Oh, dude, you got me, dude. I have no idea what book that is.
I'll have to look that up.
This is the first I'm hearing about this one.
You've never heard of this one?
No.
They made an animated version of it.
I don't remember this. Horton Hears a Who. Stuff like, so there's stuff.
Horton. I love Horton.
Yeah, but so like the point being is like those are like the A tier. Those are like the top tier Seuss books that everyone talks about. But he actually has way more books than just the really famous ones. There's a whole he's done like short story collections. He's done like smaller stories. And so so Dr. Seuss is dead. He's been dead. He's been dead for a long time, and so like I believe his widow or like granddaughter or somebody who owns his estate, uh, they looked over their catalog of old books, and they were kind of looking at some of the representation in those books. There are characters who are like Asian and African who are portrayed in like really pretty stereotypical ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what the publisher decided to do, and the owner of the Dr. Seuss estate,
the Butter, I think it's called the Butter Battle Book.
Oh, I've never heard of that. See,
You've
like
never.
No.
Dude, it was dark. It had like the anime version had like it was like the first cliffhanger ending I've ever seen.
Let me okay, so here, okay. So I have a list of the books that are being affected by this, but essentially what the publisher and the owner of the estate decided to do is they came out with a public statement that says like, hey, we've kind of been discussing it as a company and as a brand, and we've decided that we are no longer going to be printing these books. On Beyond,
I've never even heard of these books.
On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Eggs Super, The Cat's Quizzer, 𝐏𝐸𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻𝐿𝐽𝐻 And to think I saw that on Mulberry Street. So these are books that like I like. Listen,
I've never even heard of these books.
I have a degree in English, and I took a children's literature class at university. I have never heard of any of these books. Like,
I've never heard. Like, these are not like even like the C tier. These are like the D tier.
Yeah, these are like the
books.
F tier books that like nobody gives a shit about anymore. And so
Yeah.
because, and by the way, like, I actually applaud the Suess I don't know what they're called. I'm gonna call them the Suess Foundation.
Let's just call it the Suess estate, like the Tolkien estate.
Yeah, like the Suess estate. I'm actually it takes a lot of balls and a lot of guts to be like, hey, you know, some of this guy's books aren't really appropriate anymore. And by the way, it's not like they said, hey, we're gonna burn every copy that ever got printed or existed.
No, they're just never gonna print them ever
again. It's like,
again.
hey, we're no longer going to be publishing these 6 books. So if you want one, there's probably millions of copies of them in the world. You can still you can still get one for historical accuracy and for historical preservation.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things
you can still get the books. We're just no longer going to be printing them and selling them anymore.
Yeah, it's not like
and then people were like, "Wow,
cancel culture strikes again.
The liberal left coming in again and canceling Dr. Seuss. Look at this shit." First, they took away Parler. They kicked Trump off of Twitter. They took away Mr. fucking Potato Head, something that I care so much about. They took it all away. And now?
These goddamn liberal snowflakes.
And now the liberal snowflakes, they're canceling Dr. Seuss. Something that I and an adult care so much about.
It was a part of my childhood, even though I've probably never heard of these books before. And I loved Dr. Seuss as a kid. I still do.
So yeah, I wanted to. So I'm gonna be honest with you, Nick. I had kind of ulterior motives for wanting to talk about this today.
Okay. All right.
I've been wanting to kind of get this out into the air for a while now, because the last several years, and especially the last couple months, I've heard the word cancel culture hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Hundreds and probably thousands of times. I have heard this expression, cancel culture.
Well, it's like every day on Twitter or something like that, people are just like,
oh you're canceled.
So-and-so,
they're canceling.
Something is over party.
They took the tits off of Lola Bunny. They're canceling Space Jam. How am I gonna listen? If I can't jerk off to
Lola,
hear
about the Pepe Le Pew thing?
Listen, I did. If I can't jerk off to Lola Bunny, is that even American anymore? Like, come on, guys. Cancel culture is destroying my ability to jerk off for a fictional rabbit.
Oh God.
If I can't jerk off to the prominent female character of every single piece of media that I consume, are you even an artist at that point?
Just commission somebody on Fiverr. You'll be
I want
fine.
somebody's going to take that clip and put it out of context and just like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in some takedown video.
So and so is over party. The weekly chat is over.
Obsidian Man over party. But no,
Oh.
I am gonna get canceled. No, but okay. So in all seriousness, this is a classic case of conservatives pretending to care about something when in reality they don't actually care about like these books. They care
No.
about what the books being ceasing publication represent. Like, oh,
Well,
here we go.
It's not like Fahrenheit 9/11 where they're fucking just like taking all these books and just burning them. They're still, I'm sure you can go to any used bookstore and still get these stupid books.
Yeah. So and so they make this argument that like I don't know if you know this, but the day after the Seuss estate made this announcement, the entire Amazon bestseller list on their website got just slammed. It got slammed with orders for like Cat in the Hat, One Fish, Two Fish, Three Fish, Blue Fish, the Lorax. Like basically the entire top 20 Amazon list got taken over by Dr. Seuss, and so a lot of conservatives were like, "You see that? This is us fighting cancel culture." It's like, no, dude, you just increase Amazon book sales. Like,
yeah, like you just put more money into the fucking Seuss estate's like pockets and stuff like that. Like
they're like, listen, it's not like somebody petitioned for the Seuss estate to remove these books. It was a decision that they came to on their own.
It's not like some celebrity found like, oh, these books are really offensive. I'm going to bitch about it on Twitter, and then they retroactively said like, oh well,
please don't cancel us.
We're very sorry. We're gonna take these books off. Right. Like
no, they came to the.
Oh, so I had no idea that the Seuss estate actually did this.
Yeah, it was them. So like they made the decision.
Oh.
They made the conscious decision.
That would be their right.
Yeah,
that
like,
is their IP.
It was like, hey,
don't you love that though? Conservatives
some of these things are probably not great. We're gonna stop. We don't want this to represent our brand anymore. Listen, it's like what I was talking about earlier with H.P. Lovecraft, right? I don't think the fact that Dr. Seuss, back in like the 30s and 40s, he wrote and drew a lot of these books. I don't think the fact that he drew an African character in a racist way should just completely.
I don't know, but
hold on. Like, I'm not saying that like obviously it's bad, but what I'm saying is like the fact that he drew a couple of these characters in a negative way, and the fact that he drew like Asian stereotypes, I don't think that should take away his entire body of work.
Well, not only that, he was very for the Japanese internment camps in World War II.
So listen, there is a fascinating amount of in addition to writing children's books. By the way, if you want to just go on a wild fucking ride, go look up two things. You're gonna want to Google search two different things. One, Dr. Seuss propaganda, because that motherfucker wrote a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That motherfucker wrote and drew a lot of propaganda.
To be fair, a lot of those guys, like I know the Looney Tunes creators and like Disney and stuff like that.
Disney, Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers, like they all did it.
Yeah, they're all guilty of that.
Right, and I don't think the fact that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. We can't show any of those. These are not.
I am not showing any of these.
Those are not being. None of the. So, like I said, you can do that on your. Go ahead. Open up a new.
I'm looking at it on my phone right now.
But I'm telling the viewer. Go ahead. Open up a tab in the browser. If you're listening on iOS, I'm sorry, but like if you're watching on desktop.
Hey. Do you want me to get this shit demonetized?
No. No. But go ahead, open up a tab, look up Dr. Seuss propaganda, and have a good fucking time.
Oh my god.
Also, on a even weirder note, if you really want to get saucy, go ahead and do another Google search, and go ahead and look up Dr. Seuss X-rated images. Because yes, in addition to writing children's books and writing war propaganda, the guy drew a lot, and I mean a lot, of really weird porn. Yes.
Well, it's just like I guarantee
And like,
you,
and
as
we're not showing any of
an
that.
animator or an artist, we know we are definitely not showing.
I'm not
you
showing any of
froze.
it. But listen.
Oh no, he's. Oh, there you go.
If you're listening, if you're listening to this on YouTube, go ahead and open up another tab and type in Dr. Seuss X-rated. Go ahead and type in Dr. Seuss X-rated images, and there's an entire archive. I've seen somebody actually archive like just hundreds of Dr. Seuss's weird porn. I've seen it. I've seen Dr. Seuss's weird porn.
Oh God.
No, but
I can't find any.
I'll try to find an archive for you and send it to you later. But like, trust me, they are fucking bizarre.
Oh, ooh.
Did you find one?
I found one. Yeah,
there you go.
7 Lady Govitas.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's really funny. You can see like an author's like kinks in their art.
Oh yeah, like
apparently he's an ass man.
Oh no, not only is he an ass man, based on the images that I saw, he is a plus size queen. He wants to be domed. He wants to be domed by a big mommy.
Let me see.
He wants to be domed by a plus size mommy. For
you
sure.
Know what?
For sure.
He wants to be crushed by those mommy milkers.
Oh, I mean, well, wouldn't you? But yeah, anyway, okay. In all seriousness, I want to talk about my thoughts on cancel culture. And by the way, just for the sake of this discussion, this is solely my opinion. I'm not going to speak for Nick. I'm not going to speak for him. This is all me, baby. All me. So if you want to bitch about somebody, bitch at me, not him.
my little heart, she breaks.
So I take offense to this term cancel culture, and here's why. I find that a lot of the time it is used as a crux to essentially have celebrities like not be punished for the not even just celebrities, people in prominent positions of power. Whenever they are accused of bad behavior, whether that be sexual assault or whatever it is, right?
Racist or
like whatever it is. People are like, oh, well, they're gonna get canceled, and that means that their career is over. But like, here's just a few examples of like I know about this from like a YouTuber perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's take a look at some people that were quote unquote canceled on YouTube, okay? So like, you have a guy like Pro Jared, who like his whole thing, he came out, he was kind of grooming some people, and it was bad news, right? He was canceled. He was canceled, right? Well, if you go to youtube.com/ProJared, he still has a YouTube account. He still has monetized videos.
Is he still uploading?
Yeah, of course he is. I blocked him a long time ago, but like, he's still there.
I don't want to think about Pro Jared ever
but
again
yeah,
after I saw those images.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, what I'm trying to get at is like, if Pro Jared was canceled, how was he canceled? He still has monetized content. He's still a popular content creator. He still has supporters in the comment section. He still has people on Twitter following him. Like, how has he been I don't. When you say canceled, what do you mean by that? Like, monetarily canceled? Because that's not true. Like, cut off from support and like a network? That's not true, because he's still being paid by YouTube. And like, and Google. Like, they don't give a shit.
Well, it's
like so like,
it's really funny how they like certain people get canceled, but they're just like, fine.
What do
like
you
PewDiePie,
mean?
for example, like after that whole thing with like the Nazi uniform and drop it.
He's still one of the most popular, richest content creators ever.
Yeah,
not even just YouTube.
Kind of swept under the rug real quick. I mean, I never supported PewDiePie,
but like, even
I just was never a fan. He
said the N-word on a stream playing Fortnite or whatever, and like, he's fine.
And a Nazi,
he's fine.
And the whole Nazi uniform thing. It's like, come on. Like,
okay, at least so the excuse I've heard for that is that like he himself, like, I don't know if he himself wore it or he hired 2 actors on like Fiverr to do it, but like, still, it's still bad.
Yeah, it's still in bad taste.
But like, the point that I'm trying to get across, and what Nick is trying to get across, I think, is that like, how has PewDiePie been canceled? Because he wasn't part of YouTube Rewind? Oh, like,
nobody wants to be part of YouTube Rewind.
Like, oh, they didn't allow him. They didn't allow him on fucking YouTube Rewind. He's still one of the richest content creators on the fucking planet. Like, he still has a giant network of people. He still has connections. He still has people that like watch his videos. He still has fans. He like
Yeah, like
how has he's not
do you
how
think
has
certain
he been
sponsors
canceled?
care?
No, like
I
yeah,
don't.
he's still sponsored. Yeah, exactly. Like these guys don't care. Like they'll be like, "Oh, you're."
Well, it's one of those things where like
They don't fucking
sponsors
care.
will like sort of like hold their ground for a
Yeah.
little bit, and then they'll wait for the fire to die out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
like,
okay,
we
you're still you're still the golden goose. Let's
Right.
milk you for all
Yeah,
we're worth, or
we're
let's get as
gonna-
many golden eggs as we can.
we're gonna hold off our sponsorship for like a month. But
Yeah, we'll wait.
But hey,
We'll wait for the
buddy,
shit to die down,
we'll be
and
back.
then we'll go back. Yeah.
like, and so there was a guy so in the Fire Emblem community, there was this content creator called Mangs who so this is before the Rona, a bunch of the Fire Emblem YouTubers.
Oh, it feels like a lifetime ago.
Right. So before the Rona, a bunch of the really prominent Fire Emblem YouTubers got together at a game convention. So like you had people like Lucky Crit, you had people like Manx, you had people like Mecha, you had oh god, what's his fucking name? Chaz. I know his real name. I don't know his YouTuber name. Chaz was there. So like you had all these really prominent people in the Fire Emblem community, and they got together and they rented rooms together. They rented like Airbnb. They did all this stuff, and he like pretty blatantly like assaulted one of these YouTubers who was a girl. Like pretty like it wasn't like. And listen, I'm not saying that any degree of sexual assault is bad, but like it wasn't like a rape from what I gather, but it was still like fucked up. It was still like this is not okay kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so he was canceled, right? But like again, you go to YouTube, he uploads videos every single day. He still has comments, he's still monetized. Like so my question to the people who talk about like cancel culture, what do you mean by cancel culture? So and also like,
well, it's like I think
going,
they think
going
of
from
like people who are like for this cancel culture thing. They think of it as like this holy sword that they're gonna
free speech,
free speech, and all that. And then it's really just like it's what do they call it? Like keyboard activism. Like they're upset for like 5 minutes,
right?
And then they just don't. Then they just move on to the next tragedy or terrible thing.
So
or the next
we didn't get around to talking about it, but like Marina Carano or whatever, the lady on the Mandalorian.
Oh,
what is her name? It's like Maria Carano, right?
Let's just call her Carano because I know that's her last name.
Right.
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
So like, yeah, she said all this terrible shit on Twitter, and so the director of the Mandalorian was like, "I'm sorry, we have to fire you." And so it's like, was she canceled? No, because she was picked up by the Daily Wire, which, by the way, the Daily Wire, home of our best friend Ben.
Is that where he is? I don't pay any attention to any of that shit.
Ben Shapiro is like one of the founders of the Daily Wire, which is this fucking conservative rag. Anyway, not important. But yeah, but they picked her up and they said, hey, let's make our own movie starring you. And so like, you have a lot of these celebrities who go on their like canceled they haven't been canceled. This is a business opportunity for her now. Like it's not like so just because she wasn't canceled, she just lost an opportunity for an acting gig. So like how was she
and she's probably making more money doing that too.
And so like my question to the people who talk about cancel culture is like, if you are famous enough, like you can't be canceled. How
it's just like
how can a celebrity ever be canceled? How can someone in a prominent position of power be canceled? They can't, because they're still like, even if they get called on their shit, like you said a racist thing, you did you did some sort of sexual assault, you did this horrible thing, you said these horrible things, like they're still like they'll face.
Well, it's one of those things where like a lot of people need to realize that a lot of these people have like people that manage their PR.
Yeah, they have PR people who mitigate this shit.
They'll twist the narrative to whatever they want, to where like they'll lessen the blow and they'll probably get more work out of it. Like it's like,
exactly.
I was the victim here, not this person.
Exactly. Or like
this.
They'll do
I did it to this person, but this person did way more horrible stuff to me, and it's just like
they'll do what I call the crocodile tears apology tour.
Oh my God!
I didn't realize what I was doing. was offensive to my female coworkers and my female
Oh God.
constituents.
Whatever.
I am learning.
On
I'm taking classes and I'm learning about respecting the boundaries of females in my life. My daughters. I have 2 daughters and a wife who I love so much.
Well, it's like
and there's
something.
like, it's all bullshit. It's fucking
It is
bullshit.
all bullshit. Well, it's just like something similar happened on TikTok where one of the most famous TikTokers on there right now is a woman named Only JS. And she got somebody screen recorded a conversation with her and a person of color, and they were getting into an argument or something like that on Instagram. And then, like, I don't want to say exactly what she said, but like she called this person like N-word loving cocksucker or something like that. And this came out.
Just some straight up Rush Limbaugh shit. Sure. Great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much. And then like she got quote unquote canceled, but her TikTok is still up. She's still putting stuff up.
She's still monetized. She still can make content. She still has a fan base. Like,
yeah, she still has like thousands, if not millions of viewers per TikTok and stuff like that. After that, the worst thing that happened to her is like Netflix gave her a podcast and the podcast is canceled.
Oh, wow. So again, she lost one business opportunity.
Yeah, she lost one business opportunity.
And so the rest of her career is probably fine.
Yeah, and then I look at the comments of it and like nobody's talking about it and everybody just gave her a pass.
Right.
It's like, oh, she was young. She was like 16 or 17 at the time or something like that. Like, I don't think that's really an excuse.
Right, of course not. But
still, it's like nothing happened.
Yeah, of course. It's like, so like.
And then other people that are like actually really good people. Like there's this guy named, we call him TikTok Jesus, this guy named Scotty Wartooth. He gets canceled. He gets his whole account deleted on Christmas, and his whole shtick is that he dresses up like Jesus. Yeah, he got like his whole account deleted on Christmas, and he gets his whole account deleted. He's back.
Right.
But yeah, like TikTok's like going after him like left and right, and then like it's not fair.
It's and by the way, you know how like a couple months ago everyone was talking about how like, oh, Twitter hates conservatives and and all this bullshit, right? Even though that like Ben Shapiro has like 2.5 million fucking Twitter followers or whatever the fuck. Like it's really fucked up because that's the narrative that's like spouted, but in reality, the majority of people who are like either banned or muted or deleted or removed from the website, honestly, there's a giant, if you want to go down a really fascinating rabbit hole of Twitter bans, there's a fucking cavalcade of LGBTQ content creators who have been mysteriously banned for like really small, tiny like TOS breaches and things like that, or like they said something offensive, or like they said something that was like aggressive, or like all this bullshit. But like in reality, it's like.
Well, it's like, look what happened to you. You said were like in jest.
Yeah.
Like you were. Like I knew you were like, that's the thing that really bothers me about Twitter. It's like you can say something in a certain way. Like that's the beauty about language and talking to people. Like you can say something one way and just have it mean something completely different. Or it's like, say like if I wanted to threaten you, like a la The Sopranos or something like that.
Right.
But if as a normal person, I would say like, oh, hey Pat, how you doing? Hey. But then if I really wanted to threaten you, it's like, hey Pat,
I'm gonna fuck you
up.
How
you doing? No, not even that. I was just like, hey Pat, how you doing?
Right.
You doing okay?
The context, yeah.
The context
of your voice and your inflections matter a lot, but you can't. There's no inflecting in.
There is
text.
no inflecting on Twitter.
So like, here's the thing. Like, I think that certain language is dangerous though. Like if I went on Twitter and I posted like, I'm going to kill Rusty Shackelford. Like. That might be
this whole episode's deleted.
That might be something that Twitter has to look at and be like, oh fuck, are you?
Yeah, he's threatening violence against somebody.
But like, yeah, in my tweet, I suggested that I got temporarily banned for so like, okay, if you've never seen the episode of the podcast where I talk about this very briefly, I got pissed off at a boss fight in the original Witcher game. And I posted about it on Twitter like a petulant. And listen, like it was I admit it was a dumb post. I didn't need to post it.
It was a shit post.
It was a shit post. And so I said, I hope whoever designed this at CD Projekt Red like stubs their toe on a coffee table. And like,
yeah, it's not even like Not even threatening like death on somebody,
Right, right.
and then you get fucking.
So I got pinged
I guess
for
that would mean you were technically canceled.
I was canceled
like,
for 12
for
hours.
For 12 hours, yeah.
I was canceled, baby. That's right. Ugh, I'm gonna go join the Ben Shapiro tour. Ben, I was canceled. Please allow me to make Daily Wire articles.
Oh God.
No, but no, so yeah, so it's language is funny like
well,
that.
By
but
that
like,
logic, I can't do a good Ben Shapiro.
Let's just say for the sake of argument.
Wait, can we have a Alex Jones versus Ben Shapiro?
Alex versus Ben.
Now you see here, this weekly chat.
Well, listen,
it's just nothing but liberal propaganda paid by a lizard.
You're not thinking about Western values, okay? Listen. There are traditional.
Hey, don't talk to me about Western values, okay? I grew up in Austin, Texas. I know what I'm talking about, or so I've been told.
I can't even break the facade. You do that so good. I can't even hold on to the. I can't even hold on to the Ben persona.
The Ben. I just need to get
but listen.
Shit.
So like we have these people on Twitter who are canceling each other. They're canceling Mr.
Let me stop you here.
They're canceling Mr. Potato Head. Listen, you don't know what you're talking about, okay? The
liberals
are trying to destroy me, okay?
And they're feeding them information in the Oval Office. You hear me?
That's right.
Or so my research says. That really hurts. That really hurts my voice.
By this protein powder made out of cement.
Now you see here, I accidentally made methamphetamine mixed with protein powder mixed with microchips in there, and
God.
this will shield your brain from the aliens and the lizard men leaving in the core. Okay, that's it. Oh
God, he's so fucking insane, dude. He's so fucking insane. He's insane.
He looks like a walking heart attack waiting to happen.
He looks like your shitty next door. Like you move into like a quiet neighborhood, and he's your fucking weird like gun toting psycho neighbor who like you're walking. All you're doing is trying to walk out to your car to go drive to work or whatever, and he has like a fucking gun pointed at you.
Oh God. I'm gonna get you this time, you son of a bitch.
It's like,
really
I'm just trying to walk to my car.
I was hanging out with my dad last night.
Oh yeah, how was that?
And no, it was great. It was fantastic. We had some Thai Japanese food up in Ophir. But he was telling me about how one of his neighbors, he is still like a full Trump denier and stuff like that. But that's not beside the point. What's really funny is he thinks my dad works for like the Secret Service or like a G, or like one of the Men in Black or a G-Man or something.
Nice.
Because anytime he drives by, he just like purposely like just does not make any eye contact whatsoever. It's like it's just hilarious. Like
your dad's like, all right, man, I don't know.
Oh, my dad doesn't care.
Yeah,
he just rolled. No, he kind of feeds into it because my dad, he loves he has like one of those like really high powered vapes or something like that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's like, he has it on, but he thinks he's like talking into a walkie-talkie or something like that, and like the government was sent there to spy on him, even though my dad, he just wants to be left alone. Yeah, and then
sorry, I was just trying to get...
and then just a whole cloud just erupts out of his car.
It's a smoke bomb. Yeah, exactly. It's an explosive. You're oh God.
Ninja vanish. Oh man, that Alex. Sorry, I have to reset after the Alex show.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's
a lot. It's harsh on the vocal cords.
It is.
But it's anyway, like me doing that and doing what's another one that kills me? Oh, doing my Rick voice, my Rick and Morty voice.
I don't know, Rick. Maybe we should do this space thing, Rick.
Listen here, Morty. We're gonna sit on this. You see, I'm doing Alex Jones again.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of sound similar.
They're kind of in the same. They're kind of in the same ballpark.
Yeah, like Rick is a little bit of a higher pitch of a voice.
I think the thing with Rick is that he has this thing, Morty, where he just kind of talks a little. He sort of talks a little bit like this, maybe. And also, we're gonna go into the space thing, Morty. And emotions don't exist; they're just bugs in your brain, Morty.
I think you actually do a better Rick than I do.
Oh, okay.
I think your
emotions aren't real. They're just bugs in your brain, Morty. Okay, love doesn't exist.
No. Doesn't that kind of make life worthless? Life is meaningless, Morty.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you go, it just turns all black, Morty.
I don't know about this, Rick.
Oh man.
See, doing the Morty voice kind of hurts my vocal cords. Rick, I don't know about this, man.
You do it. You see, you actually do a really good Rick and Morty.
Morty, which is weird because I'm kind of so about that show.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where like we have things that we can do really well
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
just don't care about.
Right, right.
Like I ever told you my my blue cheese paradox?
Oh yeah, you've told me. But yeah, but
Yeah,
tell the folks.
I will tell the folks. So I actually have a recipe for a blue cheese dressing that people have actually wanted to use for their restaurants and buy off of me, but I can't have the blue cheese for because I will die
Yeah,
because I'm allergic to it.
you're allergic to like what part of it do
I
you
think
think you're allergic to?
I think it's the mold in the cheese.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like I always do really terrible with mold. I don't know if it's like the penicillin in the mold, which I hope I don't get really sick and where I need penicillin because I might actually die.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah. Oh god, what were we talking? Cancel culture.
But anyway, yeah, I don't want to linger on this too much longer. But like my question to like when people, okay, if you were the type of person who thinks that cancel culture is the thing, and like you could maybe make the argument that like if you're a small time content creator and you know somebody pulls up your Facebook from like 10 years ago and you said like the N word on Facebook one time, and like if you're like the smaller you are as a content creator, the more that you can get like canceled. But like
Yeah.
if you're somebody like a pro Jared or somebody like fucking like a celebrity or an actor or an actress or like a governor, Mr. Cuomo, if you're like a president, Mr. Trump, like
Former president.
and even Mr. Biden, like you cannot be like there comes a certain threshold where you become your power, you have so much political and financial power and backing that it doesn't matter what you do, even if somebody catches you on camera, like you cannot like cancel culture does not exist for people over a certain financial and economic threshold.
Well, it's the same thing how like people who like have never trained for martial arts in their entire life and they watch a fight, it's like, oh, I could totally do that. I could totally beat him. It's like, how would you actually do it? I call them armchair generals.
Yeah.
Because they think they think they're so in their own head that they can do the things that they need to do. And like really in actuality, it's like, no, you'll get your shit rocked.
You'll get fucking rocked, bud.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like they think, because here's the thing, a lot of these people have an insane amount of money, and those guys have accountants, and they probably say, hey, you need to manage your money fine. So even if they like don't have any working position, like they'll be fine.
Yeah,
they
like,
don't give a fuck.
Like somebody like an actress or whatever who like Harvey Weinstein is like a monster, right?
Yeah.
And like he got canceled, but like he has millions of dollars. Like if he doesn't work for a couple of years, like he's not fucking who fucking cares?
Well, that's
like,
the thing about
he
the
doesn't
Weinstein.
care.
Well, no. Well,
yeah.
The thing about the Weinstein thing is that like he is going to be like he's going to be paying out like millions upon millions upon millions for like legal fees and settlements and like reparations.
I get that, I really do, but like at the end of the day, all of that shit is like kind of a drop in the bucket for him.
I don't know. I think they're gonna try to milk him for all that he's worth.
I mean, for sure. I mean, he's gonna have to pay. He's gonna have to pay settlements and shit. And like, I'm not saying that like it's not gonna be a lot of money, but for Harvey Weinstein, like it won't be like that much money. Like he'll go from having like.
Did you hear he got corona in prison?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear about that. Okay.
Yeah, he got corona in prison.
I believe that, but sure. But like, yeah, and here's the thing. Even if like, let's just say that like a celebrity has like $100 million, right? And by the way, like that's a small number. Like, let's just say that like a celebrity has like $100 million and like they get canceled and they lose $50 million. Like, they have $50 million.
Well, it's like here's the thing with the way that interest works in banks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even if you have like $5 million that you don't touch, you could live off the interest of that
forever
for the rest of it. Forever, yeah. And most people, a lot of 1% people, that's like pennies to them. Like they don't give a fuck. Like they'll have like
what? I only have to pay like $100,000 in legal fees.
Well, yeah. And then like it's one of those things where like this is what kind of drives me crazy about tax the rich, where it's like one of the reasons why the rich don't even get taxed is because they don't have cash inflow. They have assets.
Right.
Like they have like that's why like so many rich people they invest like businesses and properties and all that stuff.
A lot of their money is liquid, or it's like
there's
there's different types of assets. There's like your
There's like
assets are like held up in a company, or they're like liquid. Like
yeah, you have your
I
stuff in like
right.
investments or like property. Like property's the big one. That's why like all these rich people they buy like so many fucking houses and
Right.
shit.
Because
Uh,
it's a way for them to like, yeah, preserve it. Honestly, for them it's like they get all this, they get access to this property, and then yeah, they rake in this interest on it, or or like they rent it out to people.
you know, they rent it out or like they just
It's
sit on it and then it's worth like
it's the whole
two or
idea
three
of
times.
it's the whole idea of the plot of the movie The Founder, where
Oh yeah, that he doesn't actually buy the McDonald's.
yeah,
He
yeah,
buys the land
yeah,
under the
he
McDonald's.
doesn't want to
It's
buy
like you're not in the fast food business.
you're in the property
you're in the
business.
land.
Right.
Yeah,
And so
which
he
is
buys all the he buys out the McDonald's brothers because he has so much money, because he buys up the property on where the McDonald's is. And they're just
yeah.
like, well,
And it's
you
not like God's making any more land.
right, it's
That's for damn sure.
like if you want to do your things, like you can do whatever you want, but it's on my land. So like yeah, when you own the property and you own the land, you're able to like dictate, like you're basically at that point able to dictate what direction wealth goes in.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
But anyway,
capitalism, man.
I just okay.
It's a sneaky
One last
bitch.
thing. So like yeah, Dr. Seuss. Bottom line, Dr. Seuss isn't canceled. People are still selling his books. His estate just basically said, "Hey, we're not going to print these books anymore with some kind of racist shit in them. Hey, you know,
Yeah,
not everyone's legacy is perfect. I hope that I hope that you guys focus on like the good stuff that Dr. Seuss did, like the Green Eggs, the Ham, and like all that stuff.
yeah,
Like
like
and listen, like that is that's the thing, right? With like authorial intent is a slippery slope, because it's like did Dr. Seuss intend for his caricatures and stereotypes to be offensive? I don't think so, but it doesn't matter because in 2021 they are offensive.
yeah. Well,
So
it's like I wonder what's gonna come out that came out in our lifetimes, and like maybe 40, 50 years from now when we're 80.
right, exactly.
And I
Like
wonder if I wonder what's gonna get canceled
you know,
now.
okay,
I mean, we are.
you
It
know it's
kind of
already
happened with
you know
with the rallying thing.
I watched
Oh,
a really good. Oh, sorry. I watched a really fascinating video, by this YouTuber called ContraPoints. By the way, if you're not
mhm.
watching ContraPoints, like, what's wrong with you? Fucking watch ContraPoints.
There's so much wrong with me. How long have you known
No,
me?
no, but I wasn't talking to you specifically,
There's
but like,
I know, but it's just like when everybody says like, "What's wrong with you?" And it's like, "How long have you known me?
that's right.
You know this about me.
But
You know
like,
what you signed up for."
so she made a video about trans representation in movies in the early 2000s, like the late 90s and early 2000s. There's like
Ooh,
a 20-year gap of movies where like, oh my god, trans
yeah,
representation was fucking
it's
cringe.
pretty. Oh
It's
yeah.
fucking
Well,
cringe.
for the whole LGBTQ like culture and stuff like that. Like if you look at stuff like Will and Grace and stuff like that, it's like horrible by
Yeah, yeah.
today's standards. Where
They're
like the like homosexuals are almost depicted as like the
they're
clowns.
a parody. Yeah, like, and listen,
Yeah.
like one of my favorite books and one of my favorite book series and one of my favorite movies of all time, we'll get to that later in the show, is Scott Pilgrim. And listen, I love Scott Pilgrim, but like the character Wallace is kind of like a walking talking cliche. He's like the
Well,
gay best
best
friend.
friend. Yeah, that was
And like
like
and
if you
like
wanted to have like some cheap representation on your
right.
project, you would throw like either a gay best friend or something like that.
And listen, like
It's
I actually I love the character of Wallace. Don't even get it twisted. If you've read the books and or if you've watched the movie, he's awesome.
no, he's awesome.
However, he's like this magic quit machine, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Scott, let me give you advice about your straight
Yeah, he's
relationship."
basically like omnipresent Jiminy Cricket
Yeah, like,
for Scott.
and like again, I'm not saying hashtag cancel Scott Pilgrim, but what I am,
No.
but what I am saying is that like a lot of the time, this representation is done like we don't even think about it. We do this representation in such a way where we don't even realize that we're perpetuating stereotypes.
Yeah. Well, it's like I feel like the gay best friend trope has died out
Yeah.
considerably over the past like 5 years. Like, when was the last time you saw a movie and they had like the gay best friend? It's
Tuca,
been a long
there was
time.
an episode of Tuca and Birdie where she and her friend go to like a mountain cabin to get away from the city, and they stay with her former gym coach, and the gym coach is gay. But like
Uh,
I think in that case it's that relationship is at least organic. It's not bad. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, on the season of Sopranos that I'm watching and stuff like that, it turns out that one of Tony's captains was a closeted homosexual, and they're like trying to like figure out what to do with him and stuff
Right.
like that. And it's like I'm just like, ooh, this would not fly
Yeah,
today. This would be.
exactly. And listen, I think again, I think context is important, but also,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
like 2006
and I
when
think that
this episode came out.
we are making
We are
strides.
making
Like
strides. Yeah,
I think stuff like the Shira show and stuff like oh god, what is that?
Steven
There's like
Universe.
Steven Universe and stuff like Kipo and the Age of Wonder
Yeah,
Beast. Like we're heading in the right direction. I
we're
think.
heading in the right direction. It's gonna. I mean, we're still dealing with racism after all this time, and people thinking the Earth is flat.
But Nick, but racism is gone, man. Civil rights, man.
Shit takes a minute.
Another out of context Patrick clip. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Anyway,
Somebody,
le-
somebody should make a supercut of us,
all like Patrick's worst lines.
Patrick's worst lines. Nick's every time Nick gets his camera feed invaded by cats, or every time Nick eats during the show. I've been good about it the past couple of weeks.
I got my Luna bar ready.
I know, right? Well, it's like you'll see me sometimes in certain episodes where I'm just like snacking throughout the whole fucking thing.
I'll be
It's
like, capitalism is fucking bullshit, and Nick will just be like,
I'll just be eating cheese. Yep, it really is.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, this cheese is so good. I love it. I'm actually thinking about going on a keto diet pretty soon. That's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. My dad wouldn't shut up about it last night, so he's just like, "Yeah, you should go on the keto diet." And I was like, "Okay, I've been thinking about doing it for a while."
I guess last word about the whole Dr. Seuss thing. It's like, I think I think this very complex issue is being boiled down and simplified to suit a narrative that
well, it's just like
a specific type of person is trying to propagate for.
Well, it's like I had no idea that it was actually the Suess estate.
Reasons, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like I had no idea that the Suess estate was actually doing this, and I was like, okay, that's fair.
Like it's
it's their IP. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Like that's the thing. It's them cleaning up, and like I don't know, like not like okay, putting politics to the side for a second. If you from a strictly economic standpoint, if you own a brand and you're trying to modernize your brand and keep it relevant in the current era, you have to clean house and you have to change your brand image. And so some of that involves, doing some house cleaning.
Yeah. Like if we ever decide to do this full time and stuff like that, we're definitely gonna have to clean up some shit for us.
Yeah, exactly.
We're pretty good.
You know what's funny is
we're pretty transparent on the show.
Yeah. It's funny. I wanted to at perhaps one time I was trying to propose the idea to you that we do an entire episode of the show without swearing, because apparently there is an algorithm where the fucking YouTube algorithm can pick up your vocal conversations, and if it detects that you swear too many times, if you say the F word too many times, or you say shit or whatever too many times, the algorithm will detect this and it will recommend you less often than content that has no swearing in it. It's fucking wild.
I think we should try it just to see if we can do it as a personal challenge.
Fuck! Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I'm not saying the next episode, but I'm saying
you know what?
What?
I will try it. I will make this goal and commitment right now. I will try my best on the next episode of the Weekly Chat next week. I will try to not swear a single time intentionally.
Or it's every time.
I'm probably gonna break it. But
I don't want to put us on the spot, but it's every time we accidentally do swear, we have to donate $1 to a charity,
right, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Last thing, Mr. Potato Head, Hasbro. They said, oh, hey, we're doing, Mr. Potato Head is gender fluid, and conservative Twitter freaked out. And then they said, hey, you know what? Never mind. Just kidding.
Yeah, way to go back on your words.
Yeah. But anyway, Mr. Potato Head, he's apparently a trans icon now. So there you go.
Well, it's to go slightly back to the Dr. Seuss thing. It's really, remember how the Onceler in the Lorax movie became this sexual icon? What?
No. So in the animated short version of the Lorax, there's this song that goes Grickle grass, Grickle grass. Some say the Lorax will come again, or something like that. And so like every time I think of the Onceler, I think of that song. But anyway, yeah.
Well, it's like
And then
I have this horrible association.
And then Tumblr came with so full disclosure, I have not seen actually no wait we
No,
did
we
watch
have seen
the
it.
we did watch
Yeah,
the
we did
Lorax.
watch it.
That's right.
We watched it on. It was like Netflix or
We were
something
drunk.
like that because we were. I was gone.
Yeah,
I was gone.
I said, listen, if I'm gonna watch this goddamn shit show, I need alcohol. But yeah, so we watched the new Lorax.
How
and like,
bad can it be?
Oh yeah.
Just
All
the
the
economy.
All the memories are rushing back. Thank you.
Yeah, well,
all of my repressed memories of this movie have come flooded back in.
Yeah, it's like the Onceler. Like the most famous thing about the Onceler was not the Lorax,
Nope.
not the kid, not the Taylor Swift girl that was in there. No, it's the freaking Onceler.
Yeah.
Became this sexual icon.
Yeah,
just like,
Tumblr exploded on this guy. Like,
yeah, it was like that, and the kid from Horton Hears a Who, like the goth dude.
Yeah, like the emo kid. Yeah, I remember that.
They became like these weird sexual icons.
Why? Yeah, exactly. I don't.
It's Tumblr.
I guess.
I just want to get that off my chest.
Which is really weird because like in the animated short and in the book of the Lorax, you never see the Onceler's face, and like
no, you don't.
And also in the book and in the animated short version, he's like an old man. He's supposed to be like 70, 80 years old. Like he's an old fuck.
Yeah, he's like Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah, exactly. He's supposed to be like
the horrible things that he's done in life.
Yeah. He's this old,
and he's warning the kid like, learn from my mistakes.
Learn from my mistake. Here's the last truffula seed.
Yeah, and like we don't have an answer for it. Like,
right.
Maybe it'll come back. We'll see.
The future is optimistic. But anyway, yeah. That's it. I don't want to linger on this too much longer, and I'm sorry that I know that a lot of the time I go off on this type of thing, but it's just like it's something I felt like I needed to get off my chest just because I wanted to talk about this on Twitter, but I know like I'm trying to cut back on Twitter a little bit on being like completely like full blast on shit on Twitter.
Yeah.
And so I want an actual outlet, and I want it like a productive outlet to say it on instead of like my Twitter.
You should start a Tumblr.
Oh, I'm gonna create. What's the most obscure character in like an animated? You know what? Fuck it. I
want the Patrick Colasauer gangbang.
Yeah. I'm gonna make Patrick Colasauer from Gundam 00 a sexual icon.
I mean, he's already a sexual icon in that show.
That's right.
He's already a superstar. He's not even basically. He is immortal.
That guy,
he just gets out of these situations.
I love. We might have actually already talked about this on one of the lost episodes of the podcast. But like, dude, I love Patrick Colasauer so much. Dude, he's such a fucking boss in that show.
He has the happy ending. He
gets
the girl.
He's so clutch. I love that motherfucker. Oh, he's so good. Oh. God, and like they're such a good pair, and they're such a good couple. I love them so much because she's all like she's this like no nonsense businesswoman, and he's like this silly happy-go-lucky idiot, but they love each other, and it's just it's so good.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Strangely, one of the most wholesome. It's strangely one of the most wholesome romances in that entire franchise.
In season 2, there's that whole subplot where like he's tried to ask her out on a date, and like they cut away from like the fight scenes and like the choo and like the mech battles, and they cut to him in a tux, and he's like, I'm here to take you out this evening, and it's like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, like surprisingly, there are some very nice romantic pairings in that franchise. There's like Patrick and the General, and then there's the tall mechanic and the dude with the sunglasses.
Oh
yeah,
from Stardust Memories. Yeah. I wish that we got more of those. I like them a lot. I wish that we had more of them together.
Yeah. I guess there's Shiro and Ida.
I think we might have talked about Stardust Memories. I almost said Stardust Crusaders. That's one of the things I actually kind of don't like about Stardust Memories. I don't buy that romance at all.
No. I'm not talking about Stardust. I'm talking about 08MS team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Shiro and Ida.
Oh,
Who
oh,
was?
oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry. I'm thinking about the main character from Stardust.
Oh no! Oh, that romance, the
Yeah,
main one in
yeah, yeah,
Stardust
yeah,
Memories.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's
It's a
terrible.
terrible romance. I don't. They have no chemistry.
She sells him so
Well,
far
no,
down
like
the
even
fucking
like
river without a raft.
even
Spo-
even if you didn't take that into consideration, right? Like let's just put the ending aside for a second. Like their actual chemistry is dog shit.
It's flat.
It's
really,
dog shit.
really.
There's nothing there, and the show tries to push it so hard. They're like, they're really in love with each other. It's like, really? Isn't she like 30? Isn't she like 35, 40, and he's like 16 or some garbage? Like, I don't even.
No, they're actually roughly around the same age.
Oh, okay, but like,
yeah,
she seems like she seems way older than he is.
No, I think she's like 23 or 24 or
Oh,
something.
okay,
like that.
okay, that's fair. But like, it's so weird because like she's this like
yeah, they have zero chemistry in that whole show.
She's this kind of vulnerable, no nonsense mechanic, and he's this like dumbass idiot. And
Well, it's like the romance from Top Gun if done very, very poorly.
Yeah, they have no chemistry, and the show
No, they don't.
the show pushes so hard for like, oh, this is a tragic romance. It's like, what are you talking about?
No, like a good tragic romance in Gundam is something like War in the Pocket.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a great tragic romance.
Yeah, yeah.
What's another good? There's like Layla, or there's I should know that there's Char and
shit, yeah, her the girl. I know who you're talking about.
yeah, the girl. Lala.
Lala, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, like there's Char and Lala, and then there's
yeah,
a few.
That's a believable romance because you can totally buy the idea that somebody with Char's charisma could attract like, first of all, Char saves this girl, and he's also this like charismatic, like natural born leader, and like
Yeah.
so when she falls in love with him, you kind of buy it because like, yeah, it's like you could see why this person would be attracted to Char. Like it's like it's not like
that's the thing though, like with Gundam romances, it's very hit or miss.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say so.
What's another one that
I like
there's Stardust. There's
so in Gundam 00, I forget the name of the characters, but there's the blonde girl, and there's the
oh yeah, the one that
the
gets
guy
her arm blown off.
The guy who pilots the 00 with Setsuna after
yeah.
They have a romance, and like I think
I think that's a good romance.
That's a good romance, especially because they have to fight each other afterwards. Like it's really intense. It's like, holy shit, like this shouldn't happen. Like
there's also there's Domon and Rain from G Gundam. That
that one works, I think.
Sometimes
I think it works
because the whole point of that show is for Domon to let go of his anger and to learn to love and not follow the way of the warrior.
Yeah, exactly.
All that much. What's another good one? Double Zeta is Zeta and Double Zeta is really weird because a lot of those relationships don't work, and if they do work, they end in tragedy. Like a horrible fucking
in Iron Blooded Orphans.
I think that's a good.
Not Kudelia. What's the name of the little the gray hair girl, like Felt or whatever her name is? No.
No, Felt wasn't 00.
There's like the little little girl who runs the store in the kitchen.
Mikazuki. Yeah, Mikazuki's childhood friend.
Yeah.
God, what was her name?
I should know this. Their romance is very cute. I like their romance. Like that's a believable kind of wholesome romance that I could buy. I actually don't like the whole Kudelia x Mitsuki thing. I think that's really weird, and I don't think it like quite works. Like I get it for the sake of the show that she like has a crush on him, but like it just like it kind of doesn't work for me.
No, that's totally fair. Well, it's like how in 00 there was like Setsuna and
the princess, yeah.
The princess, yeah. How that's not they kind of frame it as a relationship, but it's not really.
So they frame it as like I actually really like it on a rewatch. They frame it as a relationship, but it's not like it's not quite as romantic as I remember it being back when I first watched it. It's
Yeah, they barely share any
they have
screen
like
time whatsoever.
they have kind of a strong friendship, and even then, it's
Yeah.
like it's kind of iffy at best.
It's very iffy. And then especially if you see like the deleted scene in Awakening of a Trailblazer when he visits her as an old woman.
Right.
It's like really weird, like Titanic nonsense. But yeah. Well, that's the thing though. Anime romances, they tend to kinda either not be the focus because it's not like a shonen, or it is the focus and it's done very strangely, like those harem shows or even romance stuff. It's a lot of like, will they, won't they,
Right, yeah.
probably.
Anyway, do you want to move on real quick to the second half of our show?
Yes.
All right, so here's the thing. I was gonna talk about the whole YouTube creator thing. It's pretty fresh at the moment, so I propose that
let's hold off
Yeah.
until next week until more of that gets fleshed
essentially
out.
like this. If you
Because
if you're listening and you want to know this, the TLDR version of the story is that if you make YouTube content outside of the United States, you are going to be taxed for every view that you get in the United States. So basically, you're double dipping on your taxes from both Google and your country of origin.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Anyway, so I want to end the show with I found online a random would you rather questions generator. But before we get to that'll be the end of the show.
Okay.
I've wanted to do something like this for a while now, where we talk about like either like our top 5 or top 10 favorite movies. And so someday, so we're just gonna briefly talk about like 5 movies that you like right now. Like if you had to like, we kind of
you were stuck in a cabin by yourself and you had to bring 5 DVDs or Blu-rays to watch. Which ones would it be?
Yeah, so I always find that
of course I would always cheat, so I would always try to get a trilogy, but I had to pick one. I stuck to one entry from one trilogy from this time.
Right. So top 5 and top 10 lists for movies are kind of weird. I feel like if you're the type of person who is like really into film and TV and literature and like
it
media,
changes all the
that
time.
Your top 5 is always in flux. Like there's no consistent.
Well, it's like there's only one movie on here that I've seen for over 20 years that has still been my favorite. The other ones I've seen within the last like 10 years.
2 movies on my list are movies that I have felt this way about for at least 5 years.
Yeah,
but the other 3, the other 3 are ones that like are pliable.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to go through your list first, or should I go through my list first?
I'll go through mine first.
Yeah, go for it.
So, these are in no particular order. This does not say any about the quality, but these are the movies that, like, if I was stuck in a cabin, I would if I had to watch these movies over and over and over again, I would not mind. So, in no particular order, the first Back to the Future movie, classic. The second one is a recent addition, Sicario. That
by the way, you can spend 30 seconds kind of talking about why you like the movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Back to the Future, it's a classic. You know, it's got everything. It's got action, suspense. Well, I would hate to say romance.
I mean, a little bit of romance between George and his mom,
George and Lorraine, and then Marty, and then his girlfriend getting back to her and stuff like that. But it's got a little bit of everything. It's got suspense, action, sci-fi, comedy.
It's a bit of a comedy. It's a bit of an action movie. It's a bit of like a teen rebellion, like kind of like rock and roll kind of punk movie. It's a bit of a science.
The music is great.
It's a bit of a science fiction.
It's timeless is why I like it so much. The second movie, it's a little it's very dated by today's.
Michael J. Fox kills it as Marty, and then
Christopher Lloyd is done. And then oh god, what's the name of the actor that plays Biff? He's like one of the best movie villains of all time.
Shoot.
Biff,
I don't know off the top of my head.
It's Tom Wilson, I think his name is. Yeah. I really love it. It's in my mind, that is as close to a perfect movie as you can get.
What I like about Back to the Future is that you can put that movie in front of like you can put that movie in front of a kid or an adult, and they'll both have a good time.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like I saw it as a kid. Right. I was probably a little too young to watch it, but I remember like watching the shit out of like the VHS copy of it.
All right, next one.
Next one is a recent addition that I love is Sicario. Don't Need No View,
I'm flying
Josh Brolin,
over you.
Benicio del Toro, sort of, I would say, gangland crime thriller, so to speak. So basically, this movie, I believe, is a like I love Denis Villeneuve. He's become one of my favorite directors, but I feel like it's a masterclass of like action, suspense, and then it really makes you question your humanity at the end of this movie.
You've been toying around. We've been talking about doing this type of thing for the podcast for a while, like doing like a top 5 or top 10 list. And when you mentioned Sicario to me, I was like, wow, really? And not because the movie's it's a great movie, but it's a movie where like after I watched it, it's one of
You
those
feel like
movies,
you got punched in the soul.
yeah, it makes you feel like shit afterwards. Where like
Yeah.
you're like, oh my
Well, it's
god, these horrible things happened, and like, oh my god, this movie is so this movie's kind of a downer.
It is a bit of a downer, but like
But
I'm sure you have some movies that are downers because it
oh
makes you
yeah,
realize like this stuff, it's totally believable what happens in that movie and how dark humanity
they go to
can
some like pretty fucked up places, like especially at the end of Sicario. It's
oh,
like,
at the
oh
end,
my
at the dinner.
god, like
Oh yeah.
like they fucking go there.
I know. It's one of those things where I love Benicio del Toro. He's actually in another one of my favorite movies on my list. But yeah, I love how like it just makes you realize that, you know, even the good guys,
Yeah,
like they'll
yeah.
do some horrible things to get the job done. And I love that. And it's not I like it because it's portrayed in a very balancing. It's not like John Wick where like you're rooting for John Wick and stuff like
Right.
that. You're just like, I hope he kills all these guys. And you're watching Sicario. It's like, I know he has to kill these guys, but oh my god,
Jesus.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
Next.
Let's see what next movie. This is another one that I love because I just read the book and I this movie's just a trip, a literal trip. It is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas
Yeah.
with
Johnny
Mr.
Depp.
with all these goddamn bad. It's every time I watch that movie, I see something new.
Yeah,
It's like
that's another one of those movies where every time I watch Fear and Loathing, it's like I'm having fun while I'm watching it, but also there's this like little part of my soul that is like dying when I watch it because it's like, oh my god, humanity is this awful, horrible spiral of death and sadness and drugs and corruption.
I know, right? Well, it's just like it just kind of sings to the rebel in me.
Right, right.
Like it's one of those things where like there's no way like any normal like when Hunter is talking about Dr. Gonzo is one of God's own prototypes. He's like really talking about him and himself,
Right, yeah.
because two different opposites. And it's just like I love, and plus like it's one of my favorite book adaptations of all
What
time.
I like about it is it's a raw, visceral movie. Like,
oh yeah,
it does
and
not
plus,
pull any fucking punches.
It does not pull any.
You see Hunter S. Thompson, the character. You see him at his like highest highs, literally, and his lowest
low.
fucking lows, and they censor nothing. He like there's entire scenes that are awkward and like painful to watch. Like the scene where
in the bathtub.
Yeah, the bathtub scene. We'll try not to spoil the movie if you haven't seen it, but like there's so many scenes in that movie where it's just like, what the fuck is happening? Not in a bad way, but like in this like, oh my god, this situation has gone completely out of control, and
Oh, yeah.
And there's no. You could call this either a downside or an upside depending on who you talk to, but there is no optimism in that movie. It is
No,
there is no happy ending. There's no like there is no like I learned something today, guys. There's none of that. It is a bleak and downer movie. It is like this is the ugly underside of humanity that you're too afraid to look at.
Yeah.
Now look at it.
You know it's there. Look at it. Look at it. I commend all of you to look at it.
In that sense, it is a great movie.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic movie. It's one of the best book. It's one of the best book adaptations of all time.
It makes me uncomfortable to watch it, but it's a good movie. It's
a good.
Do you ever have those experiences that like you kind of don't ever want to go back to watching or reading a book that made you just feel like dog shit, but like you acknowledge that like, oh, this is a great movie, this is a great book, this is a great this is a
Yeah.
great album, whatever it is. Um,
Yeah.
but there are certain pieces of media that like tap into the bad parts of my personality and my like my subconscious, I think. And
Well, it's like it's a
like
dark it's
yeah.
reading and watching that movie is like going into a dark introspective nightmare. It's like you really and it's you have to ask yourself those questions.
Do you want to
of,
go to that
like,
place? Yeah.
do you want to go to that place? And I feel like Fear and Loathing, reading and watching the movie does that to a T.
Oh hell yeah.
And then I really, really struggled putting one of these movies from this director on here because it was a tie between Wolf of Wall Street
Oh yeah.
or Goodfellas.
Oh
and
God.
I settled on and I put Goodfellas on.
You know, I ain't even mad, dude, because that is a difficult decision.
That's like picking your favorite kid.
Which of my hands is my favorite?
Yeah. Well, probably the right, so at least I could still like write. But
yeah, right.
I ultimately settled for Goodfellas because it's just I'm always a sucker.
I think that Goodfellas is just one of those, and I hesitate to say this because nothing is perfect, but
it's close.
It's as close to a perfect movie as you can possibly get from the pacing, from the quality of the writing, from the quality of the acting, from the quality
from the acting to the script to the set design.
Like everything in that movie is, again, nothing is perfect, but it is so fucking close to being a perfect movie.
It is like a 99.99999% like close to being perfect. And I really sweated being able to pick between Wolf of Wall Street or this, but Goodfellas wins out at the end.
I think at the end
it's a lot like Wolf of Wall Street is more funnier.
Yeah.
Goodfellas is more entertaining. If that makes any sense.
I would say that Goodfellas is slightly tighter than Wolf of Wall Street, but like
it is very tight.
It is like, it's one of those movies where there's not a wasted moment of that film.
No.
Like
every moment feeds into
every single pan, every single use of the camera, every single like character interaction is perfect. Like there's not an ounce of fat on that movie.
No, well, it's like Goodfellas is like almost 3 hours long and stuff like that. It doesn't feel like that at all. Where you want same with Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
But like
incredibly
when you
long
watch it,
films,
you were just absorbed.
You're sucked in to the point where it doesn't matter that it's a 3 hour movie.
No, it doesn't, and that's why I kind of didn't like The Irishman. All that. I mean, I like The Irishman just fine, but it's just one of those.
I think we talked about this on the show, but yeah, I'm with you. I wasn't crazy about The Irishman.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of what I thought. I was like, it's okay.
But yeah, it's also Goodfellas is one of my dad's favorite movies too. So like we have that.
Goodfellas is kind of like a dad movie that like you show your like if you're a dad and you have like a teenage son, you're like, hey son, let's watch this movie. Kind of thing.
And thankfully, I watched Goodfellas when I was an adult because I was able to really appreciate it because I was already into film, and then I saw Goodfellas and I was just like, oh. That's it. Everybody, pack it away. We're done here.
So do you have? I'm curious. So like, I own Goodfellas on DVD. It came out when DVDs were like brand new, like brand spanking new. I actually have the DVD that's the double-sided DVD.
I have the exact same one, but I also have the 30th anniversary version too on iTunes, which is like the crazy like 4K HDR remaster and stuff like that.
The version that I have has half the movie
on
each
like
side.
A laser disc.
So like halfway through the movie, you literally have to get your ass off the couch and like flip the disc over and put it back in the machine.
It comes in like those crappy, cheap like Warner Brothers like cardboard cases with like the fucking clasp on the side.
Oh god, such garbage. I don't miss that at all. Such garbage.
I don't miss it at all. Yeah,
but no, I can't even blame you, dude. Goodfellas is just fucking rock solid.
It's tight. It's one of the tightest movies you've ever. And plus, like, there's like so many famous actors now that.
Joe Pesci.
Like Joe Pesci.
Is there a more iconic Joe Pesci moment than the haha funny do I amuse you scene? Like that is like the pinnacle of that guy's career.
Yeah.
And plus, it was
Well,
the
he won the Oscar for it too.
And plus, it's the movie that made Joe Pesci rap.
I thought that was Casino.
Was that Casino? I thought it was Goodfellas, but yeah.
It
by the
could've
way,
been
if you don't know, if you're listening to this, Joe Pesci did a rap in the 2000s, and so if you go on YouTube and look up Joe Pesci rap, have fun with that.
That'll be one of the first things there.
Have fun with that.
Oh dear.
Look it up. He raps. It's fun. Anyway, you had one last movie?
I have one last movie. Yeah. So it's another one of my dad's favorites. I think this is actually my dad's favorite movie of all time. And it's one of my favorites too. I really love Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, no, I can't blame you. Sure.
Yeah. And I'm one of those guys where I love the whole movie top to bottom. Everybody says like, oh, the movie really sucks once they get into Vietnam. It's like, no, it gets pretty.
I think that the first part of the movie has a lot more comedy character moments, and then the second half of the movie is like, we're done fucking around. This is what the war is actually about.
Yeah,
like when
especially
we're
at the end when they're in those bombed out buildings looking for the sniper and stuff like that.
Like, so the beginning of the movie, they're at boot camp, and there's this like, hey, you know, we're these plucky, happy-go-lucky kids, and we're in boot camp, and like, haha, we're about to go fight a war, right, guys? Ha 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 ha. And then and then the guy, like, I forget, is he shot or does he shoot himself? I don't remember. There's like the guy. There's the guy who goes. Yeah, the guy who goes AWOL.
Gomer ends up stealing a round and then kills himself on the toilet after he shoots Gunny.
No, at the beginning of the movie, like, I think it's Private Pile, right? The guy who like.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, I call him Gomer Pile because that's what Gunny calls him.
Right. Okay.
Get the fuck off of my obstacle course.
What are you doing on my obstacle? Oh,
holy Jesus!
That guy is.
What is that?
I forget the name of the actor. He does such a fucking fantastic.
𝐷𝐻𝐸𝐵.
Yeah,
that's his name.
I don't think Full Metal Jacket would be half the movie. Would have half the recognition and half.
Oh no, it wouldn't have been nearly as good without Gunny.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet Jesus.
Oh my God, yeah, Gunny has some of my favorite lines.
You can suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
I think you've been cheated. How tall are you, Private? 5'9". 5'9". I didn't know they stack shit that high.
So good. Oh my God.
It's one of my.
So good.
Almost anything that comes out of Gunny's mouth in that movie is like something that I will quote all the fucking time.
But you know, going back to your first point about
a jelly donut.
How people were saying that the first half of the movie is really good, and then the movie like gets bad, quote unquote, during the second half. I think that, like, okay, this is me being like presumptuous, but like I think that's kind of the point though, because like when all the characters are in boot camp, like nothing, you know, they're basically playing, they're pretending to be soldiers, right? It's like the first part of the movie is it's like these boys, and they're playing pretend. They're like, oh, we're military men. We've got our guns, and we're gonna play paintball with each other. But then the second half of the movie, there's way less comedy. There's way less like humor in it, and that's because, hey, motherfucker, we're in a war now. Like, playtime is over.
Yeah.
And I think that contrast is done on purpose.
No, it is.
That's just me though.
But yeah, but keep in mind this was during the draft. Like none of those boys signed up to go into the Marines.
Right, exactly.
Like they were fucking drafted. Yeah, so nobody wanted to be there.
Like, so you know how like they have that song, like the Mickey Mouse song, where like this is like I love my rifle, I love my gun, and it's a whole like penis allegory thing, right? And I think that the reason that they sing that song is because it's these boys and they're pretending to be men. They're like, look at my big cock gun, look at my big gun.
Well, it's like it kind of persists all the way until the very last scene in the movie when they're singing the Mickey Mouse Club song. Right. Like in this bombed out Vietnam.
Right. It's these boys and they're trying to play at being like adults, and they're trying to play at being like soldiers. Yeah,
and they're still boys at the end of the day. Yeah, just
they're boys who have been they're these boys who have been like horrifically scarred. Yeah.
Yeah, horrifically scarred and twisted by war.
Metaphorically and physically.
Yeah. So that's my top 5. It'll probably change like next year or something.
All right, I like that. That's good.
Right. It's a solid list. I would not be bored if I was stuck on a cabin somewhere and I had to watch those 5 movies.
All right, here is my current list of top 5 favorite films. I threw this together kind of off the top of my head.
Some of these I already knew. One of them was a complete surprise to me.
Yeah, most of these are movies I've liked for a while. There's like, and again, like I think if you asked me this question in like a week or like even 3 days, I'd be like, oh wait, no, I want to switch this one for that one. But there's a couple on here that are like pretty rock solid.
Well, like yeah, most of these I knew. Okay. One of them I had no clue.
Okay.
So all right.
So the first
What's
movie,
your first one?
The first movie is Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
You talked a lot about movies that had like stuff like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and movies like that have just
like
there's no hint of optimism.
It's bleak.
Yeah.
On top of bleak, on top of despair.
So Gone Girl is kind of the same way. This is a Fincher movie. I think this might be one of the first Fincher movies I ever saw. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing too.
And so Gone Girl is a movie that explores the complexities of adult relationships. And yes. I feel it does so in a way that's like, it's very similar to a movie like Eyes Wide Shut, but like, speaking frankly, like, I think it's a lot smarter about it than Eyes Wide Shut is.
Well, it's more believable because like Eyes Wide Shut, like though I hate to say this, but like they're just like some 2 rich yuppies from New York. Like Tom Cruise is a doctor, like Nicole Kidman's like a fashion designer and stuff like that. So even if they got divorced, they're fine. Like in Gone Girl, like it just seems like the people right down the street that are going through a rocky divorce.
So the basic plot of Gone Girl, for anyone who hasn't seen it, there's this woman who is a author. And so I
thought the husband was the author.
I think it wasn't that like either the grandmother or the father, like her one of her parents is the author or something, right? So like she is.
I don't know. I thought it was Ben Affleck was the author.
No, I think it was. I don't think he writes the books. I think it was somebody else who wrote the books, but I could be wrong. But anyway, there's this woman who is, she is a person who has a character based off of her from her childhood, and so she's basically like this Nancy Drew type of like murder mystery type of character. And so she's now this adult woman who's had this legacy of having this book series based off of her as a child, and she is marrying this guy.
He was a writing teacher.
Right. I figured he was like a teacher. And then, didn't she or her parents wrote the book, right?
Yeah, her parents wrote the book and she was based off of it.
Right. And so
Amazing Amy,
thank you. It's been a while since I've seen the movie.
My mom actually just watched it for the first time.
Oh my god! How did she react to it?
Oh, she freaked out.
Oh yeah, that's a rough one. Especially based on based on your mom's taste in media, like that's rough. Oof. That's rough, buddy.
That's rough. Yeah.
But no, so the movie is about this couple, and they're a seemingly happy couple, and then one day, as the title of the movie suggests, the wife just goes and like disappears. And not only does she disappear, but the husband comes home, and it looks like there was some kind of altercation. There's like blood on the floor. There's blood on the floor, and it looks like there was a struggle, and his wife goes missing. And so the husband now has to navigate the media, because the media is like, oh, where's Amazing Amy? Where is this girl? Like, did you like kidnap her? Did you kill her? Did you abuse her? And so this guy has to navigate this whole fucking complex web of like what happened to his wife.
Lies and deception.
And I won't give away the entire movie, but needless to say, everything is not as it seems. And the
it is not.
And the ending is probably one of the most. It's probably a thesis statement.
Psychologically horrifying.
It's kind of it is the best thesis statement on why marriage doesn't work for most people. For most people,
like one thing I really love about that movie is like everybody brings their A game. Like Imogen Poots, Ben Affleck, Tyler Perry.
Is good in the movie.
He is fantastic in the movie, and I wish he would do more movies.
He's the lawyer. He's the guy's lawyer, and so he plays it straight. And like you expect him, you don't expect Medea to be this like really prominent character actor, but nope, here we are. He's really good.
No, Tyler Perry is a really charming dude.
He kills it in that movie.
Yeah, he does. Neil Patrick Harris is really good in there too. Who else is in there? Let me double check.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's
another
just
one where like
it's just
everybody.
I
Oh,
it,
I'm sorry, it wasn't Imogen Poots. It was Rosamund Pike plays
okay.
the wife.
But like I guess to me it is the like it's probably one of the best like modern dramas I've ever seen. It's one of those movies that it left such a lasting impact on me that I think about it all the time. There's like scenes in that movie that have been branded into my brain. And I go back to that place over and over and over again. And it's a movie that I loved. It's also a movie that is very beneficial on a rewatch, because
Oh yeah, definitely.
like you can start to put the pieces together and you can look at all these little things that like the first
Well,
time you saw the
it's
movie,
like,
you're like,
well,
ah,
it's like I
like
love
that's
movies like
whatever.
that where they just lay out all the pieces, and then it's like, oh, this doesn't make any sense, and then you watch it, it's just like,
Oh, that's what that
okay,
meant. That's what that meant. Yeah,
yep.
exactly. You're like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I love that shit.
Anyway, moving
I'm a
on.
sucker for it.
Uh,
Moving on.
by the way, you have no idea how hard it was. I decided to limit myself to only one animated movie for this list.
I know. I'm surprised I didn't put an animated movie on there. I was trying to think, but I couldn't
honestly,
think of one.
I was thinking about doing like two separate lists of like my top 5 animated, my top 5 non-animated, but like I threw one in here because
We should do that next episode.
okay. But like I threw an animated movie on here because this movie is one of my like all-time favorite. Like if I was to do a the purpose of this list is like my top 5 favorite films at the moment, and so this is one of my top 5 films of all time.
Yeah,
And
that is like one of the best solid picks
and
out of all.
the movie is Hayao Miyazaki's The Wind Rises. Now listen,
Oh, The Wind Rises.
I know what you're thinking. No Princess Mononoke, no Spirited
No
Away,
Spirited Away.
no House Moving Castle, and like I'm here to tell you.
Those are the normie Ghibli movies.
No,
man.
no. I'm not trying to be a douchebag. I promise.
I'm being the douchebag. I'm the one who said it, not you.
I know that those are the mainstream.
Not that there's anything wrong with those movies.
The
Princess
mainstream.
Mononoke.
That's what I was
say
gonna
that
get at.
Princess, yeah, like the mainstream Miyazaki.
Fucking elitist douchebag. Anyway,
I
Princess Miyazaki is a legendary movie, and it is Hayao Miyazaki's magnum opus. I'm not going to argue with that. Spirited Away is a similar accomplishment of like Herculean accomplishment. Fantastic film.
It
like
won Best Animated Picture.
Yeah.
So
Princess Mononoke, or excuse me, House Moving Castle, similar thing. Those are 3 legendary fucking films, and you're not going to hear me say otherwise.
No.
Like,
well, it's like
that being said,
once you get to the top tier, it's like different levels of tier. You know, like you're at the S tier, but you have like single S, double S, and triple S.
Like
it's all like varying degrees of good.
Those are 3 legendary films, and you're not going to hear me say otherwise. However, if you were to ask me what my favorite Miyazaki movie is, like the movie that I think is like from the heart, like his best film, it's The Wind Rises.
Well, it's like you can definitely see how much passion and love he put into that movie because he came out of retirement to make it.
Well, Miyazaki's gone into retirement like 4 different times now. Apparently, so stop me if you've heard this one before. But Miyazaki claims that after his next project, he is seriously for reals this time, guys, considering retiring.
He is gonna die. No, he's gonna die animating. His shit until he goes.
He's gonna die at his desk.
How old is he now? He's like in his 80s.
Oh,
at least.
I believe he's like 85 or something like that. Anyway, the reason that I love The Wind Rises is because it is a movie that the more that you know about Miyazaki, like the more that you actually know him as a director, and you know his fascination with things like airplanes and with like flight and with like military weapons and stuff like that, and his very strong opinions on world.
He's actually only 80 years old.
Oh, really? Okay. And his very, very, very complex feelings about war, especially World War II. It is a movie where I feel like it is Miyazaki's soul on a canvas. And he's just laying it all out there, and he just wants you to interpret it however you want to interpret it. Like the movie is about this. Apparently, it's, I don't know how much I believe this or not, but like apparently it's based on a true story. Finger quotes. about a Japanese engineer in World War One who is designing airplanes for the Japanese fighter planes for the Japanese military. And so the entire movie it stars a guy named Jiro, and his whole thing is that he wants to build. He has a dream of building these beautiful airplanes that aren't weapons, but the reality of his world is that he's an aeronautical engineer, and the only thing he's allowed to build are fighter planes. But but in reality, he wants to build like beautiful airplanes because he's so in love with the idea of perfect aeronautical engineering. He's so in love with the idea of flight that he wants to create these like beautiful pieces of engineering, but he's forced to create weapons. And so the movie is kind of a beautiful exploration of Miyazaki's views on war, on art, on passion, on engineering. And so and so on top of all of that stuff, it is a fantastically paced movie with gorgeous backgrounds, with a plot
the music is so fucking
and
good.
I know I'm throwing shade here, but it is the best and it has the best romance in a Miyazaki film. I'm sorry. Listen, I know that people are gonna be like, "Oh, what about Princess Mononoke? And what about Spirited Away with Haku, and all this stuff?" Listen, I'm there with you. Those are cute romances, but like, let's be real. Those are a lot of those romances are kind of like
it's more like summer child love,
exactly,
and stuff like it's like the summer of love.
The Wind Rises is Miyazaki exploring a complex adult relationship.
Yeah, it is the most I will say this: it is the most realistic portrayal of romance in any of his filmography.
Because it's not
it's not like somebody falling in love. Yeah, it's not somebody falling in love with like a fucking spirit,
right? No, it's like it's a real. They have a real organic relationship, and by the way, you see the good times, but you also see the heartbreaking times and the horrible times that they go through. And like, not to give the movie away, but like they have a very bumpy ride in their relationship based on the world around them and things that happen. And so and also, it's probably the first and only time you're ever going to see sex depicted in a Miyazaki movie.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Again, not to give too much away, but there is a scene where, like, again, it's not a hentai. They don't show anything, but there's very much there's a moment where it's implied that they like get down to business. Yeah. Anyway.
To defeat.
But anyway.
The Huns.
It's just. I'll move on to the next one, but like, it's just. It's so.
No. That is
it's in my opinion, it's such a beautiful expression of tragedy and artistic expression and kind of like a culmination of like history, and it's just I love it so much. Like, just I can't recommend it enough. Please go watch The Wind Rises.
Go watch it. I think it's really cheap on Amazon.
It is such a slept on.
I think it's actually on HBO Max too. It
is such a slept on film. It hurts me because listen,
was it nominated for best animated picture?
I believe it was it was nominated. I don't think it got. I don't think it won.
I think like
no, it didn't.
It was like a Toy Story or something like that won.
Yeah, fucking probably. Fucking Pixar. Anyway, my mood just changed on a dime. Did you see that shit? I was like,
time to grease up the Academy.
Beautiful artistic expression. Fuck you.
but nothing.
No. But seriously, it's so slept on. Please go watch The Wind Rises. It's an incredible film. I promise you, you won't regret it. Anyway, moving on.
You will cry. You will definitely cry.
Catch Me If You Can. Oh my god, my love for this film is so profound. Holy shit.
Oh man, I love. You actually showed it to me for our Double Cinema Challenge. I was just like, okay, I've heard of this movie. I did not expect to love it as much as I did watching it, because it just kind of gives me the same feeling as like Forrest Gump does. And I know it's Zemeckis that.
Yeah.
Is it Zemeckis or Spielberg?
Spielberg.
I think it was Spielberg. Yeah. But it just kind of gives me like that warm, nostalgic feeling, even though I saw it as a grown ass man.
Yeah. So the movie, if you've never seen Catch Me If You Can, by the way, star-studded fucking cast. Here we go. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, Christopher fucking Walken. Like, if that alone isn't enough to get you to watch this movie, I don't know what will. Like, come on. Anyway,
you hear Tom Hanks drop the F-bomb.
You do.
It's amazing.
it's anyway. The movie is about a con artist who comes from a broken home, and he basically pretends to he basically tries to kind of con organizations and people out of money so that he can kind of survive and live his weird kind of esoteric lifestyle. He's very like vagabond lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of like a harmless criminal, but so like for example, during the first part of the movie, he pretends to be an airline pilot, and then there's a part of the movie where he pretends to be a lawyer, and then there's a part of the movie where he pretends to be like a printing press guy, and like so so every time he pretends to be something, he kind of like gets close to all these different people, and then the FBI eventually realizes that like he's running scams, and they try to catch him, and so that's where Tom Hanks, who's the director of uh, the FBI case, is on the hunt for Leo. And so the whole movie is this kind of like cat and mouse game where like, oh, like I'm gonna outsmart you, Tom Hanks. No, fuck you. I'm gonna outsmart you, Leo. Eat shit, Tom Hanks. Like, and so it's this whole movie where it's this back and forth. And by the way, like Tom Hanks is a sympathetic character because everyone thinks that the investigation is pointless. They're like, yeah, you're never gonna catch this guy. Like, why are you even trying? Or like
You got to. I'm Tom Hanks.
or like they think he's like they think he's a buffoon, and they're like, you're just some fucking 9 to 5 asshole.
You're just some like FBI desk jockey or something.
Yeah,
like
fuck you. You think you're gonna solve a you think you're gonna catch criminals and solve an important case? You couldn't fucking find the coffee machine. Like
Yeah.
that
You could find yourself out of a way of a brown paper bag.
Right, exactly. So like he's a sympathetic character because the entire movie he's being shit on by both Leo and his coworkers. And so
Yeah.
Tom Hanks is like, fuck you, I'm going to do that. And so and again, it's this kind of beautiful movie where you start to feel for both of these guys. You feel for Leo's character.
Oh yeah.
You feel for Leo's character who
Well,
feels like
both
he
of
can't
the
belong
leads
anywhere.
are insanely likable.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I think probably one of my favorite ones is
Your favorite? What are your favorite scenes?
yeah, one of my favorite moments is like well, it's obvious the one where Tom Hanks dropped the F-bomb because like how many times you could do that? You could probably count it on your one hand. But the other one where it's just like it's kind of a minor spoiler, but like I think Leo is in France somewhere running these printing presses and stuff like that.
That's at the end of the movie, yeah.
Yeah, that's at the end of the movie. And you just see like Leo's just running ragged and frantic. And then like Tom Hanks being Tom Hanks, he's not like I'll fucking kill you, Leo. It's like you kind of see him as like this weird like friend and father figure almost. He's just like, you gotta calm down, man. Barry, come on. And it makes it all the more tragic because Leo loses his dad and he kind of just pushes him over the rails.
Yeah, it pushes
like
him.
Tom,
it pushes him even farther into being a con man.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like it's kind of like one of the most sympathetic characters ever. Like it's really strange because like
they're both sympathetic.
He's made Tom's life a living hell.
Yeah, he really has.
Yeah, but still, like Tom being the good-natured soul that he is, like he's not doing this out of like spite or vitriol or anything like that. He's just like, Barry, come. It's like he's like almost talking him off the ledge. So to speak. It's
exactly.
It's like Barry, come on, like we'll get you warm, we'll get you fed, but you gotta come down. You're acting like a crazy person. I thought like that's such a Tom Hanks move where it's just like you just see like the empathy and the humanity in him. Like even though like Leo's done some terrible things, like I want to help you, Barry. I legitimately want to help you, but you have to come down.
I think one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the movie that leads up to this scene that you're talking about is the scene on the phone on Christmas night where Leo and Tom Hanks's character, they're so alone that literally the only two people, like the only person that they can find company in is each other. So they're so lonely and they're so desperate on this like on Christmas Eve that like even though Tom Hanks is trying to find and capture Leo's character, they are the only two people that understand each other in this scene. And
it's like Tom and Jerry, but if like they were just like split, they need each other.
Yeah,
it's
this weird like codependence thing where like one kind of completes the other. Like, and yeah, you know what? You're actually dropping some stuff on me that I hadn't ever considered before. How like Tom Hanks is kind of being sort of like a surrogate father figure. This is good observation. I didn't get any of this. I've seen this movie a lot of times. Now, I always love to see how people interpret film because I find from person to person it's so radically different.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, it's like it's a number of things where it's just like it has a lot to do with Hanks's performance and stuff like that, but
his whole persona, yeah.
his whole persona, yeah. But yeah, it is one of those things where like he, in a weird way, just becomes kind of like the father figure that Leo needs at the end of the movie and stuff like
Right.
that. Like he's not doing this like you're my mortal enemy and you'll be dust beneath my heel.
Which
It's
he has every right to do, but he doesn't do that.
yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
he could
yeah.
have just shot Leo and just said, you
Yeah, fuck it,
know,
you're a
well,
criminal.
yeah, but well, it's like I think Leo was like what he was like 17, 18
Yeah,
when
he's a kid.
at the end of the
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, he's a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's just one of those things where it's just like it's a very compassionate, like I would say rivalry almost. It's not like
And like even
a
even when he's arrested, so spoiler at the end of the movie, but like I it's still
he does get caught.
well, like spoiler, but like go watch the movie. It's incredible. Anyway,
It's a fantastic movie.
but-
You will not waste any time
but
whatsoever.
anyway, so that when he's being put into the cop car, Tom Hanks specifically is like, hey, like don't push him around, like don't be a dick to him, like make sure that
Yeah,
he's
he's a
comfy,
kid.
like come on, like don't
Yeah.
don't like
Well, it's
fuck
like,
him
and
up.
then he ends up. Well, it's like
Don't hurt him.
I think it was like the French police. They
Yeah,
catch him and then they throw him in like this fucking like it's like something out of the Dark Ages or something like that. This type of prison.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then Hanks actually gets him out. So yeah, it's like I love movies where it's just like the
To me-
protagonist and antagonist. It's very rare with the protagonist and antagonist. You know, they're like I wouldn't say they're friends, but it's like
They depend on- they
it's
depend on each
empathetic.
other.
It's like yeah, it's like let me help you. You need help. You
Right.
know, it's like it's like at the end of the movie, like a drug movie or something like that, when the guy admits he finally has a problem. It's like I need help, man.
Well, you know, it's funny.
I gotta go
now,
to rehab.
Now you're making me think because in the movie Tom Hanks's character is divorced. It's only mentioned one time, but like Tom
Yeah.
Hanks's character, he's divorced from his wife, and so his wife has custody of their child, and so maybe Tom Hanks is like trying to find like a surrogate child in Leo's character, and Leo's character is trying to find a surrogate father figure in Tom Hanks's character. Oh my god!
Yeah. Never thought about that, did you?
Damn, you're exploding my brain right now.
Well,
I
there
love
you
it.
go.
Anyway,
See, I'm not just a pretty face.
I would love
think
to gush
these
about this,
things.
but I got two more.
We
it's-
got two more.
But like, go see Catch Me If You Can. It's so good. It's so good. And by the way, like,
it's an amazing movie. It's super cheap right now.
if you watch nothing, watch the intro of the movie. Like, watch the opening scene. It's really good.
Yeah, it's almost like the lackadaisical like craziness that like at the beginning of a Scorsese movie, like Goodfellas or Wolf of Wall Street. But you know, it's made for like kids almost. I wouldn't say it's for kids, but
It's like a PG-13 type movie.
it's like a PG-13.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's kind of gives you that feeling of like the golden era of like before things go to shit. It almost plays out like a Scorsese movie, but it's for like a PG-13, you know, sort of audience.
All right, I'll try to be fast on these last two. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I talked about this earlier. I love the graphic
We love
novels.
Scott. Scott Pilgrim.
I love Brian
Hey,
Lee.
buddy.
I love Brian Lee O'Malley. This is probably my favorite, like strictly comedy movie of all. It's kind of an action comedy, I guess.
Yeah. This movie defined our early 20s.
I have a funny story about this movie when the kid was in theaters, and it's gonna make Nick look bad, so I apologize.
It's fine. I make myself look bad anyway.
Okay. So I remember when Scott Pilgrim, the weekend that Scott Pilgrim first came out, another movie also hit the theaters that day, and it was The Expendables. Wow. With starring Sly Stallone and all those shitty action heroes that you don't care about.
Oh, that's yeah.
And so our friend.
I thought that was for the Wind. I thought that was for the Wind Rises.
No, you're thinking about when we saw
When we saw Shitty RoboCop.
Yeah, that's RoboCop. This is a different story. But yeah, so it was The Expendables, and so our mutual friend Chris, who like does not like, well, not. Which is funny because in hindsight, I think he probably would appreciate Scott Pilgrim way more than The Expendables. But at the time, he was like, I wanna watch The Expendables, and so Nick, so we were kind of compromising on like, oh, what movie should we see? What movie should we go see? And so Nick was like, well, I kind of want to see The Expendables, and I'm like, fine, I'm outruled. So we saw The Expendables, but then the next weekend we saw Scott Pilgrim, which was great.
Yeah.
But I was there.
I was young and stupid.
Yeah.
I'm still stupid.
I was young and only slightly stupid. I was dumb and very stupid. Don't even get it twisted. But anyway,
no matter how smart you are, you're a dumbass.
Oh yeah.
In your early to mid 20s.
Listen, here's a lesson for you.
If I would have met like early 20s Nick, I would smack him so fucking hard right now. Just give him a good beating.
Here's the general rule of thumb. If you're a teenager, you're dumb. You don't realize it yet, but you're dumb.
Oh, you're a thundering dumbass.
You're not gonna, and I'm not saying that there's not gonna be stuff about your stuff that you're gonna like. Like in 10 years, you'll like probably only about 20% of the person you are right now.
Yeah.
That's about right. Anyway, Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, this is speaking of coming of age. This is a kind of it's a coming of age action comedy. It's just like I don't know. There's not much I could say about it. It's probably one of the best book adaptations of all time for like a comic book, especially.
It's definitely one of the most interesting visceral movies that you can watch.
Michael Cera is I cannot think of any other actor on the planet that could place the character of Scott. Like,
Scott, yeah.
It's like asking Hugh Jackman to not be Wolverine. Like, you know, or like it's so weird seeing like Chris Evans like before Captain America, before he blew up as a superstar in that movie. Speaking of which, yeah, Chris Evans is in the movie as the third X. And so the movie, if you've never seen it or read the books, it takes place in an exaggerated version of Canada,
of Toronto,
Canada. And so in this world, there are people who can like, you know, they can fight each other in the street with like weapons and swords and stuff. And like you get superpowers by being a vegan, and like there's ninjas, and you could use the power of rock and roll to like defeat your enemies.
It's a very fantastical world.
Yeah. It's a very exaggerated version of the real world. But so the plot of the movie is that Scott Pilgrim is this 23-year-old dumbass. And he falls in love with this girl named Ramona Flowers, who is way out of his league, like way out of his league.
So he's also dating a 17-year-old.
Well, at the beginning of the movie, yeah. At the beginning of the movie, yeah. Scott, in fact, the opening line of the graphic novels and the movie is Scott Pilgrim is dating a 17-year-old, but that's like a very small part of the movie.
Yeah.
But like the bulk of the movie, he's dating this girl named Ramona Flowers, who is like.
Have you seen this girl?
Yeah. Oh God, how should I describe? Kind of manic pixie dream girl ish.
It's like manic pixie dream girl mixed with a punk rock.
Yeah, so like so Ramona is this girl who's like she's had all this life experience, and she's a lot more mature than Scott is.
Way more mature.
And so she has a lot more like real baggage than he does. He's just kind of this like idiot. He's a well-meaning but kind of dumb idiot.
Yeah.
And so. In order for it, so they decide, oh hey, I like you, let's date. And Ramona's like, great, we can date.
But first, you have to do was it 7 evil exes?
Yeah. So in order for Scott to win Ramona, which that has its own connotations. In order for Scott Pilgrim to date Ramona, he has to defeat Ramona's 7 evil exes. Notice I did not say ex-boyfriends, just exes.
Just exes. You went through a sexy phase?
Yeah, and so it is one of those.
What blew my mind that the person who spoiler, the person that we're talking about, is the same actress that voices Katara in Avatar: The Last Airbender as May Whitman. And I'm just like, that's fucking Katara.
I love the scene in the movie where she's fighting Ramona, and it's like, your BF's about to get effed in the B. So
her weakness is the back of her leg. What?
Whenever
we were making out,
all right,
like, okay, I get
it. It is one of the most quotable movies of all time.
Yeah, it's kind of come back in research because the game is now out.
It looks like your vegan is about to be gone.
Yeah, vegans are just vegan police. Gelato isn't vegan. It's milk eggs, bitch. It's so insanely
chicken parmesan.
Oh god, chicken isn't vegan.
Yeah.
I always forget that's Brandon Routh too.
Yeah,
that's Superman.
It's just everything about it is wonderfully goofy and over the top and extremely fun. It's got great music in it. It's just a solid ass time.
It is the movie that was perfect for us for our time in our life.
It is kind of a movie. If you were gonna create a movie that like defined kind of like what
It's like
what
watching Breakfast Club when you're a freshman in high school, and then you watch Heather's as a senior
yeah,
in high
exactly,
school.
right.
Like,
That's good.
Scott Pilgrim is us for like
It's like the
our
2010s version
20
of
to
that.
yeah. It's like it's the perfect movie for us for where we're like 2022.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of movies about people who are like between the ages of like 20 to like 30, like
Yeah.
because every movie is either about like people who
High
are like 30.
school or
There's either like people in high school or people like at their 30 something. You're like a 30, 40-year-old at like your cop job or whatever, right? There's not
yeah.
that many movies that are like, hey, what's this span of time between your 20s and your 30s? And Scott Pilgrim kind of explores those awkward years in a way that is very funny and also very meaningful.
And the
Despite
movie does have a lot of heart.
yeah,
It really does.
despite the fact that the movie is at the end of the day, at its core, it is a action comedy. It does have
Yeah.
a few moments that are like down to earth and very sober and very real.
Yeah.
The movie is about something, despite the fact that it is very silly and goofy and over the top. At the end of the day, it is
that's the
trying
best-
to say something.
Yeah, well, that's the best part about any good movie, because the movie, it has like the themes that you see, but it always has the themes that you take away from it too.
All right, one last movie. And I'll be brief about this because we're almost approaching the 3-hour mark, and I still
Are we really?
want to get to a few of the would you rather questions.
Right.
Those will be really quick though. Okay, so okay, Donnie Darko is my top 5th favorite movie. Long story very short about this one. I don't think people understand this movie. Like,
No, you don't.
I don't. And listen, I'm not saying that to be a pretentious douchebag. I'm saying this as somebody who, like, whenever discussion about Donnie Darko comes up, it's always like bogged down in like the whole time travel thing, where it's like, oh, how does the time travel make sense? And like, oh, if you think about the mechanics of very small descriptor of Donnie Darko. It's a movie about this troubled kid in suburban America. And he's like a high school kid, and he's kind of this troubled dude. And one day he realizes that he has been saved from being crushed to death by a falling airplane turbine that was going to crush his room. And so the person who warns him about it is this guy in a rabbit suit named Frank, who is like, is he a ghost? Is he a real person? Who knows? Is he
a demon? Because
Yeah,
he looks like a demon.
and so the movie at its core is about Donnie kind of figuring out like what is going on, what is going on with basically it's him trying to kind of process trauma in a way where he's trying to understand like why he was spared from being killed and like why that's important, that kind of thing. And so the movie at its core, and like that's just but listen, that's just like the metaphysical shit that like, and I think people whenever a discussion about Donnie Darko comes up, and listen, I love exploring the metaphysical stuff too. Like, for fuck's sake, I love Zero Escape, which is like 99.9% metaphysical bullshit. Like, don't even get it twisted. That's my bread and butter. However, I feel the movie at its core is about a teenager trying to cope with his depression, his anxiety, the way that he kind of like looks at and interprets the world. And I think
interprets the world.
And I think that is done through a lot of really emotional monologues, a lot of really, really intense conversations. Kind of like similar to Catch Me If You Can. The movie, I also feel that the movie is kind of misrepresented as like it's a horror movie. It's really not. It's not a horror movie.
No, it's like a science fiction thriller.
It's a science fiction, yeah, it's like a science fiction drama thriller type thing. It's kind of in that ballpark of that like paranormal drama type thing. But like it's not about like, it's not a scary movie. It often gets like called that, like, oh, it's a horror movie. No, it's not. It's not.
No, it's not. It's a science fiction movie through and through.
Yeah.
However, it's more of like
it's an exploration of Donnie trying to kind of just deal with his shit and deal with the fact that like,
well, it's like not only does he have to deal with the trauma of that, he has to deal with the growing pains and trauma of being a teenager growing up.
Right.
And
so he like has a therapist and he's trying to kind of get his life together. And so the only way that he can process a lot of this stuff is through a lot of this metaphysical stuff. And so I don't think that you're supposed to. I feel like people, when they watch the movie, they take it like way too fucking literally, and they're like, "Oh, he's like a time traveler," and like, "Oh, there's like interdimensional bullshit," and like that stuff is in the movie. I'm not saying that it's not, but like I think that people get, whenever the conversation about the movie comes out, and so a lot of people say that the movie is like pretentious, and like
No.
to each their own. I can respect that take
Well,
for
it's
sure.
like people show up expecting like Back to the Future,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
like or like, well, they see Frank and they think of like, oh, it's gonna be
Frank.
like that weird slasher, like
Yeah,
some weird
like,
slasher movie or something like that. Like,
and
and
like,
it's not that at all. It's a psychological like horror film.
yeah, like I
Like,
wouldn't even say it's a horror film, but like, yeah, it's like it has horror. Listen, it's got horror elements in it. Let's just put it
yeah,
that way.
but it is. I hate saying this because it makes it sound like
Oh, it's a
super pretentious
ooga
and do.
booga scary movie. Yeah.
No. It's just like, it's one of those things where like, I say this without any pretense or any hyperbole whatsoever. It is one of those movies where it does warrant a rewatch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
like, oh, and I'm not saying that it's like, oh, you're dumb, you just don't get
No,
it.
no, of
Like,
course not. Of course not. Yeah.
No, it's one of those things where like, imagine somebody just dumped a puzzle, like a pile of puzzle pieces in front of you. It's like, all right,
Figure it out,
try to solve
asshole.
figure it out. Because it gives you all the pieces, you just have to put it together yourself.
Yeah,
And I
you
know a lot
kinda-
of people, it's like, I don't want to do that. I just wanted to see some
I thought
tits
this was gonna
and
be.
gore.
Yeah, exactly. They were kind of expecting it to be like, oh, I want a scary rabbit man with a knife, like killing people, and like
Yeah.
you do kind of get that, but
A little bit, but it's not what the movie's all
yeah,
about.
that's not the reason you should watch the movie. And
No.
and thank you for bringing up a good point. I understand that like it's not a movie for everybody. I've seen
No,
people
it's
who
not.
yeah, I've seen people who watch it and go like, what the fuck was that? And like that's valid. That's fine.
Yeah, that's totally valid.
I don't think that everyone has to like. There's kind of two spectrums when it comes to Donnie Darko that really irritate me. There's the like, it's a pretentious piece of shit, and then there's like the, it is a masterful construction about the human mind and experience. And like, I'm kind like, obviously I'm kind of on that side of things, but like, I don't think that it like, it's the perfect piece of cinema and nothing should
No.
ever attempt to copy it ever again. Like, no, it's like,
No, it's like,
it's just
what
an emotionally
you have to
it's a
you have
movie.
to take of it what you will, because you're not going to have the same you're not, say you have a painting, you're
Yeah.
not going to have the same emotional resonance with a painting, because you look at some paintings, it's just like, okay, it's a good painting,
Right.
but then you see a painting that just like, it makes you shed a tear, and it makes you like question your place in the universe. Like, we are but a speck of dust spinning on this hot fireball,
Yeah.
circling endless death. It's like, you take of it what you will.
Right. Yeah, I think it's one of those movies where like the more you put into it, the more you're gonna get out of it. And if you're not willing to kind of do like it is kind of one of those movies that does require a little bit of like a work to kind of like you were saying this earlier. You kind of have to take the time to like think about things characters say. You kind of have to like figure it out. And so characters will say things and sometimes they'll make no sense, and like that's because like if you listen just to like literally, if you interpret literally like what certain characters say, a lot of the movie is like, why did she say cellar door? Why did she like I've had people talk to me about the cellar door scene, right, where Donnie is talking to his teacher, and the teacher is like, they say that the most beautiful phrase ever created in the human language in the English language was cellar door, and people are like, what the fuck does that mean? What about? And so it's not literally. She's not literally talking about a cellar door. She's talking about other things in the anyway. Yeah. So like, if you take the movie, if you interpret the movie literally like that, you're not going to get much out of it.
No, you're not.
But yeah, it's just like
still,
it's just
would recommend.
It's just an emotionally profound, really a movie that personally resonated with me quite a bit. And so
Yeah,
I would say just like ignore
well, it's like if you experience like
the
any
crowd.
amount of trauma, yeah. Well, it's like if you experience anything like Donnie has experienced, like you'll see a little bit, like if you have any trauma whatsoever, you see a little bit of yourself in Donnie.
Yeah, like and so here's the thing: at the end of the movie, you kind of have to come to the decision, like, is Donnie a good person? Is Donnie a bad person? Or is Donnie just like an emotionally complex person? Like you kind of have to make that judgment, because you could actually make an argument in either one of those camps, and I wouldn't argue with you.
No, I wouldn't either.
Because there's an argument for all three. But anyway, just like
It really is.
I would ignore both extremes. Like I would ignore like this is the best film of all time crowd, and I would ignore the this is a pretentious garbage film crowd. I would just watch it.
Make your own judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe watch it twice, but
yeah, like
it's one of those things where like this is not the movie that you go in to turn your brain off and just have flashing lights and stuff like that.
Yeah, no.
It's
you have to be active watching. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be active. Like you can. All right. So, would you rather
that was my list.
play? That was your list.
Anyway, we're gonna. So I know we're going over the topic here, but like, so I found this website and it's called conversationstarters.com.
Okay.
And so it's instead of discussion questions this week. And by the way, that was wonderful. Thank you for that discussion.
Oh, you're welcome.
That was incredible. I love that. That was fun. We should do that again sometime with animated movies.
We should.
Well, we should do that with
maybe for our kid-friendly episode, we'll talk about it.
for our kid-friendly episode. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah. My favorite anime, Boku no Pico. No!
Oh. Oh dear.
JK.
That joke is so played out at this point. It's like the Nina Tucker meme. Like it's a meme as old as time.
It's the anime equivalent of a comedian going up on stage and being like, airplane food. Like,
yeah, it's like so played out at this point.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right, so
yeah, I found this website and it's called conversationstarters.com, and it's not a dating website. It's a website with a random question generator, and so one of the random generators is would you rather questions.
Okay.
So I figured we would do rapid fire would you rather questions that I'm going to queue up on my phone.
Okay.
Okay, first question. Would you rather travel in a hot air balloon or travel in an airplane? Airplane, obviously.
Airplane, obviously, yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
Oh my god, here we go. Would you rather poop your pants in public once... would you rather poop your pants once a year in public or poop your pants in private every day? The first one, obviously.
You just be wearing diapers for the rest of your life.
Would you rather never have to wait for food at a restaurant or never have to stop at a red light? Never have to
stop at a red light.
Red light, baby.
Because I like that intermittent period of dining because like if you're having a good dinner, you want to talk with your friends and family. Like you want to have a conversation.
No, fuck that. I want to be away from these people as quickly as possible. I don't want to have to talk to these people any longer than I gotta talk to them. I'm just kidding. Dude, I'm so heartbroken that like we can't go to some fancy like place or whatever to just like hang out with friends.
Once we get, anyway. we will once we get vaccinated.
Okay.
The good times are coming.
Oh no. Okay, so this one is: would you rather look like a dog or smell like a dog? Look like a dog. Obviously, furries are super popular. I'll be rich.
Yeah, I'll take the first one too because dog smell is it's a whole nother league, and it seeps into everything.
Yeah, it does. Especially like I feel like some dogs are better about it than others. I feel like there are some dogs who like they have like a tolerable dog smell, but like like one of my old dogs was named Tara, and it doesn't matter if she was clean, dirty, whatever, right? Like I would give her baths like once or twice a month, and she would still like her natural musk just smelled like it smelled like a bag of like grain, like
musk.
Anyway,
musk.
Oh my god, some of these are ridiculous. Okay, would you rather lick someone else's armpit or have someone lick your armpit?
Someone else lick my armpit. I don't want that taste in my mouth. Let somebody else deal with it.
Now here's the thing, though. God, this is gonna reveal so much about me. Holy fuck.
Well, some people pay extra for that.
Now here's the thing: is this like can I use this in like a sexual context? Like, if that's the case, I might do lick somebody else's armpit. But like, and also it depends on like, what are we talking about? Like somebody who just got out of the shower, somebody who like just went on a run, somebody who's been at work all day. Like, what's the situation?
You see, but with that's too many variables.
All right, fair enough.
Because what if they just got done working out and just licking some swamp cheese under your armpit?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah.
Anyway,
at least like if somebody else licks it, like it's gonna tickle, but like,
oh god,
I don't want that taste in my mouth.
Next question. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this one's dark. Okay. Would you rather lose 5 friends or gain 2 enemies? 2 enemies.
Two enemies.
Because I already have. I got a lot of enemies. Got a lot of enemies. Something enemies.
Now, are they like arch enemies? Are they actively out to destroy me, or I get?
It just says enemies, but like
I'll take the enemies.
All right, me too.
You need haters.
All right. Let's do 3 more.
Okay.
3 more, and then we'll call it a show. Even though I'm having a lot of fun, but we should probably wrap up the show.
Yeah, we should probably wrap up the show.
Can
you imagine if we did like a 6-hour show?
This one's dangerous. I don't even know if I should read this one. I'm gonna skip that one.
Text it to me when you're done.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a picture of this. That one is very dangerous. I don't want to get into that one. That's the same question again. Okay, would you rather be constantly sneezing or be constantly yawning? Yawning.
Constantly yawning.
Because yawning anime characters are adorable and hilarious, and I already have allergies. Fuck that. I already lived that first choice.
Oh, dude, when I had to clean up the stairs the other day, I just saw like this cloud of pollen, and I just started like puffing up like crazy. I'm just like, oh.
All right, next question. Would you rather be stuck in a home that is constantly dark or be stuck in a house that is constantly too bright?
Dark.
Dark, yeah, definitely. I need to be able to sleep, and I can't like.
Well, that's basically my house anyway.
I live in I hate like I'm one of those people where like in order to sleep, like even if I'm
need total darkness.
If I'm in a room,
well, it's like, and then like
if I'm in a room that has like a
partake of a lot of media. Yeah, we partake of a lot of media.
Yeah,
we can't. Yeah, I hate screen glare so fucking much.
Yeah,
it drives me fucking crazy. Yeah, so I mean that's basically my house.
Right.
Anyway.
Last question.
Last question.
Okay. Would you rather punch someone else in the face for no reason or be punched in the face for no reason? I would rather be punched in the face for no reason because I don't want to punch a random person because I'm not aggro like that. Like if I had to pick one or the other, like let somebody punch me in the face. I don't care. I'm not going to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah, because if you did that, you did nothing wrong. But if you did the second option, you were actively like, and plus, like, what if you accidentally hit an old lady?
Well,
you're gonna kill her.
Or like, what if you're
what if you hit like some gym rat or something?
No,
like that?
What I was saying
He's
is like
kill you.
What I was gonna say is like, what if you're like at the beach or something, or you're at like the pier and you punch some girl in the face, and like her boyfriend is like, "Why the fuck did you hit my girlfriend?" This like big cracker jacked motherfucker comes over, and is about to take you to Pound Town.
Yeah, you just got to be Rocky Balboa and just keep your arms up and just get punched.
Adrian! Oh god, I said one more question, but I clicked on this. But anyway, the last question. Would you rather eat a bar of soap or drink a bottle of dish soap?
Probably the dish soap. That way I wouldn't have to chew it. I could just chug it, throw it up. There'd probably be sudsy vomit.
You make a good argument. I was actually gonna opt in for the bar of soap because I figured I could like cut it up and then like eat it, like drink it with water or something.
Yeah. Oh no, man.
All right.
It's terrible. All right.
That's the show,
everybody.
We did it. That was a good show. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. Well, folks,
we learned a lot tonight.
We learned a lot about ourselves in the time stream. We talked about our favorite films and what people should do with their IPs. Will we be canceled for this show? Well, we won't
I just wanted on the record to say that we love the Cat in the Hat here. So if the Cat in the Hat wants to come on our show, or the Grinch, we'll take the Grinch. Whatever.
We'll interview the Grinch.
We'll take the Grinch.
We'll take the Jim. We'll take either the Jim Carrey or the Boris Karloff.
Yo,
Grinch.
Lorax, we want to talk about your stance on global warming, bro. Come on our show, please. Come on.
Yeah.
You are any Dr. Seuss character from like the famous canon of Dr. Seuss books is officially has an open invitation to our show.
Horton will probably have to do a remote podcast.
Yeah, actually, you know what, Horton? Sorry, Horton, I don't like you. Actually, you know what? I lied. Fuck you, Horton.
He saved a whole fucking town.
Oh wow! I saved the dandelion. Ooh, our nice special.
That dandelion had a whole civilization in it. He's a hero.
Oh god.
All right.
Anyway,
we hopefully we won't be canceled, but hopefully you will let us onto your stream.
Hashtag weekly chat is over party. You can catch me on Twitter at actually I changed my handle recently. I am officially the Obsidian Man on Twitter now.
Hey, and
Yeah.
I changed my Twitter handle to the Unlucky Magi 76 because Unlucky Magician 76 was already taken, you bastard.
Fuck. Anyway, you can also
check
catch
me out at TikTok at Unlucky Magician 76. Also, check out our Twitch streams when we eventually stream a lot more. You can find us at Unlucky Magician 76 and the Obsidian Man.
With 2 N's.
Also, come check out our Discord.
Yes, indeed.
We're there. I post spicy memes all the time.
In the link of this video, or if you're watching on Twitch, it's also in the dibbly-doo down below. You can catch us on our Discord. We talk about memes. We talk about soup recipes. We talk about complex issues. We talk about best waifus. All that shit.
Oh god. And so
anything else?
Also make sure to sub, make sure to like, and make sure to hit that bell for the YouTube.
If you're watching this on Twitch, you can catch us on our
as well.
Also, yes, if you're watching us on Twitch, thank you for being here. And if you're watching us on Twitch, make sure to check us out at the youtube.com/theweeklychat. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to hit the notification bell. Make sure to leave a comment. Create engagement so that the algorithm thinks that we're relevant. Please, without you, we're nothing.
We are nothing without you. We need you. Please, sir, may I have a sub?
Goodbye.
Good night, everybody. A ding, a ding, a ding, ding, ding.